Founded in 1998, Incomif Group develops, designs and manufactures tailor-made industrial solutions for large companies in the rail, aeronautical, automotive, energy and other sectors. Thanks to our multidisciplinary engineering team, Incomif Group is able to adapt to the needs of its customers, end users and/or integrators. Our competencies allow us to cover industrial solutions that integrate mechanical engineering combined with automation, robotics and artificial vision. More than an industrial company, Incomif Group stands out for its innovation and flexibility to present its customers with customized industrial solutions, regardless of the sector in which they operate.
From the very beginning, we feel the urge to move and discover the world. We walk, ride, drive, and travel. We're always on the move to learn, work, relax, keep fit, explore, and of course, to meet each other. When we can't, we confine our very nature. We depend on mobility for ourselves and for moving all those things we need and want in life. We've always been very ingenious when it comes to getting ahead faster, more safely, more reliably, and with greater comfort. Today, we need new solutions for new challenges. This is what drives us. This is why we're so passionate about mobility and always go that extra mile to move beyond what's possible today. We are pioneers in transportation, helping our customers keep the world in motion. As their trusted partner, we create ways to move people sustainably and seamlessly, from the first mile to the last. This is our vision. This is what we're moving toward and beyond.
Como uma viagem de comboio, também a vida tem paragens. Mas depois de todas as paragens, há movimento. Há quem se mova para salvar vidas, cuidar da cidade e das famílias. Há quem se mova porque é preciso e há quem mova quem precisa. É por isso que, com cuidados redobrados, seguimos em frente, por aqueles que precisam e que gostam de viajar, para que Portugal arranque depressa rumo à próxima estação. CP, sempre em movimento.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Portugal Railway Summit 2021. This is the second day of this summit, and we'll have for the morning two special panels. It will be the international clusters as well as the future of railways. So just some details about the last day. We thank you very much for the 1,600 people who has registered for this event. This is an honor to us. Thank you for being there. Concerning also the event itself, I believe you are on the platform of the event. If you have any questions to put to this panel, please do it on the agenda looking for the panel International Clusters. There you have a Q&A where you can put your questions that the moderator will have access and will be gladly put it to the speakers if it is possible. So once again, thank you very much for our sponsors, all of them, because if they were not here, it would not be possible to have this event. So let's start having a good day. Enjoy yourself with us. So now I present to you the moderator for this session. That will be Engineer João Rebelo, who will be presenting the hosts for this panel. Thank you very much once again.
Thanks, Paulo. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this second day of the Portuguese Railway Summit, and I do expect it to be as interesting as it was yesterday's session. You are assisting to the Forum International Cluster, and I do invite you to ask questions. Please do not wait to the end of the session, as Paulo told you. You may write them, they will be answered after the presentations. We just ended a year that will remain in our memories for all our life. And yet, in the future, it is precisely this year that will show us how to appreciate our daily lives. More situations that perhaps we gave little value because they were so obvious. Without a doubt, this year has also shown us how resilient we can be as a sector, as companies, and as individuals. In our organizations, there will be a before and after 2020. The pandemic has forced us to restructure the way we work, the way we define our strategies, the way we make our operations, the business model of our companies. With our decisions, our projects, and the systems we operate, we, our staff, and our stakeholders are those who translate the purpose of public transport into intangible benefits for the city, its citizens, and business community. Public transport is not just a commodity, not just a way of moving. Those who work for and for public transport contribute for the well-being of people, to social inclusion, to the economic development of cities, and to a better and responsible quality of life. Moreover, thanks to the progressive vaccination program, we are starting the year of 2021 feeling a lot more hopeful about being able to control this pandemic. We are more optimistic about returning to a normal life, or a better normality. But this situation is offering us new opportunities, and the question is, are we ready to take them? To explain how 5 different important clusters are prepared to face these challenges, I have with me highly recognized experts from different countries. Dirk Ulrich Kruger from ERCI, European Railway Cluster Initiative, Angela Stauler from the Spanish Railways Technology Platform, Veronica Bocci from Detector, Italy, Ignasi Gomes Belinchon from the Rail Group, and Alexander Burrows from Rail Alliance UK. So I think we are ready to start now, and we'll start with a presentation from Dirk Ulrich Kruger. Dirk, the floor, or better, the camera is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a pleasure to be here at the Railway Summit, the Portugal Railway Summit 2021, even though it is a pure online event. It connects us throughout Europe. My name is Dirk Kruger, and I am the spokesperson of the ERCI, the European Railway Clusters Initiative. This is just a office of honor. In my usual life, daily life, I am the cluster manager of the Rail.S cluster, that is located in Germany. So I have my office in the city of Dresden, and we represent the area of Southeast Germany and the railway cluster there. As you can see from that slide, the ERCI is an umbrella organization. It's a club of 15 railway clusters in Europe, a growing club, and we're optimistic that we also will reach connections or intensify our connections with PFP, with Portugal, even more in this year. So we are at the moment a club of 15 railway clusters that cover 17 countries. The numbers do not total, as you see, because we have 3 clusters from Germany, 2 from Spain aboard, and on the other hand, we have our colleagues that are located in Belgrade and Serbia that cover all countries that formed in later in former days Yugoslavia. So this is how we consist on that map. On your right hand side, you can also see the geographical outreach that mainly consists of our membership in that clusters that are usually SME companies and research organizations and universities. So with our network, we reach more than 2,000 companies in Europe, and additionally universities, technology centers, R&D organizations. So quite a big club, and this is what has grown over 10 years, as you can see from our logo. So we were actually formed at InnoTrans in the year 2010 with 5 clusters at that time. So what is this all about, and why do we need ERCI? It's all about bringing customers, suppliers, and supply chain opportunities together. So that is what we had in mind when we founded the ERCI 10 years ago. And that is what our mission is today, providing added value out of that European club to the single member company, to the single member institution in every cluster in Europe or in the states that we cover. So this is our job, and this is what our members should derive from being in that ERCI. And we try to deliver this to a number of different offerings, different measures, and I give you some examples on that throughout the presentations. We have in the past been very successful, ever increasingly successful in doing partner matchmaking in Shift2Rail. In the rounds of the Shift2Rail calls, we supported more than 13 consortia, and many of them were successful in actually winning the calls. And as the Shift2Rail took up speed, so did we. And today we have a very strong database of companies that took part in Shift2Rail projects, and also institutions that lead or led proposals and projects in Shift2Rail. So we're well prepared to deliver that service to our members also in the next and upcoming rounds of Europe's Rail, as the successor is now called. We provide individual support for SME companies, mainly through matchmaking activities, through an innovation award that I'm going to show you, and a number of projects that we offer. We have created ERCI task forces on innovation topics that cover rail, that are new to rail, that are important to rail, such as the cyber security task force and a task force on multimodal logistics. Over the 10 years, there have been countless bilateral activities or trilateral activities between our different member clusters. For instance, Rail as the cluster I lead took number of or had a number of successful workshops with our Polish friends in our neighboring cluster, or inside of Germany. we do many small events. So that is what's happening in the club and what provides value to our members. Sorry, I was a bit too quick. Our ERCI Innovation Award has been around for a number of years now, and is getting more and more attention in the railway community in Europe. This works a little bit like the Eurovision Song Contest, if you like. So we have what we have in every national cluster, we have a local competition where we try to select up to 3 very good innovative ideas, product solutions that we then delegate to the European level. And the hosting of the award rotates from year to year among our clusters, and usually we award the ERCI prize, the innovation prize, at one trade show in Europe in autumn. This or last year, and this of course took place online, as we were not allowed to travel, and there was no InnoTrans taking place where it was scheduled to be. But still, we had a round of innovation awards with very good winners. So we have 3 categories: best large enterprise, best small medium-sized enterprise, and the Coup de Cœur award. And as you can see here, the winners are going broadly through all segments of rail, and with very impressive and very sophisticated technological solutions. The whole thing is meant to give our member companies, especially the SME companies, a platform for their products, for their solutions, and give them the awareness in the industry that they deserve for their solution. Through the COVID-19 pandemic, we established, of course, also digital formats, and as many of us, we experienced a push to those formats, and quite successfully, we've placed a webinar series that we have now further developed to a continuous series. So we try to offer 2 webinars at least per month. And you can see here the next scheduled dates. So it's a fantastic opportunity just to tune in for 1.5 hours, get new impressions and new innovation ideas on a very specific topic. Or on the other hand, it's a very good opportunity for companies to use the platform and reach out to the European railway community through our network. If you have ideas, if you have things to show, you can always reach us, and you can always also sign in for the webinars, of course, through our website, eurailclusters.com. I'd like to also draw your attention to a measure that we introduced this year. As there was no InnoTrans, there was a virtual InnoTrans, and the InnoTrans business days that are still ongoing as sort of a continuous matchmaking event, where we try to pilot also the resonance in Europe for a continuous virtual matchmaking format. And so we partnered up with the Enterprise Europe Network to launch that platform that is still live and still ongoing. So if you're looking for new ways to actually develop your business in a virtual perspective, this might be a good opportunity to use it. Just to sign in, it's free, and look for your partners, for new partners, for new meetings. You can arrange individual virtual online meetings, and you can also attend workshops and other events there. In delivering our mission to our member companies and member institutions, We have also tried to leverage on the on EU projects and EU funding. So we created, under the lead of our partner cluster, DTEC Fair, in 2018-19, a project called Paris, a so-called European Strategic Cluster Partnership for International, where we tried to find ways to actually open markets outside the European Union for our member companies. That included research and strategy, but it also included a pilot trip to the United States and a fact-finding tour, as you can see from some impressions here. And as it proves, taking such an initiative under the European umbrella helps us to share costs and get a critical mass of companies from different European countries to that activities. Another project that is ongoing is rail activation under the lead of our member cluster MAFEX from Spain, that deals with delivering innovation management tools to SMEs in Europe through a series of workshops and usually physical meetings, but these days, of course, virtual meetings. And finally, we are very proud that the ERCI has been selected as one of the first European strategic cluster partnerships for excellence. This is a tool where the European, or through what the European Commission tries to establish or speed up the process of establishing meta clusters in Europe as a response to increased global competitions in core industries. So in Extra, we try to exchange our experience and build up better management structures, but also structures between different players in our ecosystems, so that we actually create somewhat of a big European railway cluster. And as you can see here, there are more other cluster partnerships in Europe in other industries, and we cover railway and multimodality. So one of the mega challenges of the new century, mobility, green mobility, and clever and smart systems. And this is also that brings me back to our to the initial slide and to the end of my short speech here. This is what it is about. ERCI will be the meta cluster, or is the meta cluster for the railway industry in Europe, and this is what we're trying to build, and what we have built in the next 10 years, and where we're trying to get even better in the coming decade. So thank you very much. I'm very happy to see that we have 3 of our members then giving you some more details on what they do on the national level, and how this then connects back to the European level. But what we definitely need is a stronger and improved connecting in Europe to shape a bigger and better organizations to be able to compete on a global level. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dirk. Very interesting. Indeed, it is also interesting to see that not only you, but also some of your partners are also presented in this session. And it means that there is a benchmarking, there is synergy between all the clusters, and this is very good, because we are not working alone. We are working for the interconnectivity of knowledge, and this is very important. I'm afraid that we are in conflict with your webinar for today, because it is exactly the same time, I think. But I noticed that there are 3 more webinars for the 2 in February and 1 on the beginning of March. So maybe those that want to join, I'm sure that they will be welcome.
Yeah,
So,
but you can see, thankfully, we are a big club, and so we even have the opportunity and the possibility to be at two places at the same time as a ERCI. So that is one of the benefits of being such a powerful meta cluster organization.
yes, it is. And it is one good thing of this internet meetings, because you can be in Portugal now, and the next hour you can be somewhere else in the planet. Okay, thank
Absolutely.
you very much. It will pass to the second speaker. It will be Ángeles Tauler from the Spanish Railway Technology Platform. Ángeles, we are listening to you.
Ángeles, tienes tu micrófono en silencio. Ángeles?
It's okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
I tried to put the presentation, but
If you need help from my side, I'm here.
yeah. Compartir. But archivo.
Do you
Yeah.
want me to do it for you?
Microsoft. I don't. Archivos avanzado. I try. No. Pantalla. Ricardo. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to meet you at Portugal Railway Summit 2021. First of all, I want to thank the organization for his invitation. And I also want to congratulate them for the organizing and the success of participation. Thanks, PFP. We hope that our collaboration already established years ago and will be more active and both platforms work together. It's sure, Paulo. And in my presentation, I will try to bring you closer to the vision and activities developed by the PTF. Next, please. Go, please. Well, who is the Spanish technological platform? The PTF is an industry tool, of course, at the service of the railway sector, created in 2005 and supported by the Ministry of Research and Innovation. The PTF defines the long-term vision and the strategic research agenda of the railway sector, which is in constantly being updated. The PTF mission is to align the strategies of the various agents, concentrate R&D and innovation effort, and to reduce the fragmentation in research fields in order to promote scientific and technological progress to ensure competitiveness, sustainability, and growth of the Spanish railway. The technical secretariat is performed by the Spanish Railway Foundation. You have a little information about Spanish Railway Foundation because it's another key entity in the Spanish railway. Next, please. Go, please. Well, for the Spanish Railway Foundation is important what is the global framework. We have a national scope and with the political agenda in terms of R&D, and we have two key documents. The Spanish strategy about R&D from the Ministry of R&D, and also is very important the strategy of mobility from the Ministry of Transport, Mobility and Urban Agenda. This is the framework necessary for to develop all the effort about national research in railways. But this agenda, this political is with alignment with the political, European political and or of course of Horizon Europe program. This is the framework, but what is the more in entities we work with the research? We have of course the minister, but it's important also the national research agenda. For example, the PTF work together with the national research agenda. Also, we have another entity important in Spain for to push the research is and the innovation is the CEDETI. CEDETI is similar organization in Portugal. You have ANI, is agency similar, and to push into company, into industry to develop the research and innovation. Go please to next slide. Well, yesterday, Mr. Borghini and the representative from the DG Move speak about this topic. It's the framework international for to develop the innovation. Well, the future is Horizon Europe 21-27. All the railway sector put into cluster 5 is the climate, energy and mobility. Inside, of course, is the railway, all the innovation, but we think it's important remark to put the vision into civil security and digital industry, because it's another topic where the railway have a very good position. Also in this moment, the other program, the Green Deal, is another reference for to push the innovation in railway. Next, please. And my colleague from the RC explained the importance from Sea2Rail. We are very proud because in the first call Sea2Rail 1, Spain have a very good results. We crossing the fingers for the next Europe's rail joint undertaking. We have the same success. Yesterday, Mr. Borghini explained all the new organization, and we attain the same result. A remark to date is important when to start the program into third quarter. Next, please. Mr. Citroën yesterday put the remark about the importance to participate in Iraq. The PTF is very active in the railway platform in Europe, and it's important all the company and organization to participate for to develop the rail strategic research and innovation agenda. This document is key element considering European research priority and the definition within the framework program and the continuity shift to rail. The PTF work very hard with another, with UNIFE, UITP, UICE, with different, and we think it's good to participate in this entity. Next, please. Well, we entry a little for to organization about the PTF. We have 49 entity. Is the ecosystem into railway for innovation in Spain. Of course, the leader is the company, the industry. The 69% is inside the PTF. It's important also the vision, the public railway, and we have railway operator and administrator company is the we have the 4%, and also the academia we have 9% the university, also the research center, and also is important have together other association and other, for example, my colleague from Rail Group, but also inside is MAFEX. We have the Innovation Hub, and we think all is very interesting, all push for the innovation into Spanish railway. Next, please. Well, how the PTF is organized? We have 4 transversal working group, 8 thematic working group, but we need to push very quickly because the innovation is changed, and we need to build innovation vector because what's similar to task force. And the innovation vector, the vision in PTF is to be aware of in order to know the evolution of R&D and our sector. We need to develop another topic for to push the sector. Next, please. Well, this is one example about, I explained about, for example, the agenda. We have one evolution. We start in 2005, and we have different documents. We design what is the sector, the agenda, and technological and research priorities. But also is important about the vector and to develop a different position paper about a topic, relevant topic. And they have, for example, important call. In this moment, all people in Spain speak about hydrogen. Well, we need one response. And for example, do you have available in the website for PTF different document in Spain in English, and it's possible to show what is the vision about Spanish railways. Also, it's important in the PTF to disseminate the capacity of the sector. And we have 2 documents, is a references, and we identify who is who into research and innovation in Spain. As well, it's important also as the scientific infrastructure for testing. Next, please. This is another example for another activity from the PTF is the permanent technological surveillance. With the different call, they have a very important production in projects. Well, we prepared this document for the all the sector, continue the vision about the different project, and next we put inside in database from the PDF. What all is available for is open, because to participate in the PDF is free, is open, because we support the minister. Next, please. Another working important intervention of the PTF is working on transversality. Also, the European Commission is a guidelines for to development. In this line, it's important for one example to advance materials for railway fleets. It's come from the collaboration between PTF and Matterplat. Matterplat is nano materials and advanced material platform. And in this document, its main goal is the both transfer of research, knowledge, and technology on materials to railways. We think that you invite to show this document is is available in the website. Is in English also. It is a document constantly update document is and you is easy accessibility. Also, it's important for this transversality to develop agreement and collaboration with another Hispanic technological platform. For example, we have agreement with the PT materials, building, aeronautics, hydrogen, road, energy, automotive components, and also, of course, we have agreement with another international platform, for example, with Czech Railway Technological Platform, Portuguese Technological Platform. Next, please. Well, this is a project we think is into philosophy about PTF, and the Spanish Railway Foundation participates in this project. Put a remark to promote into transversality. Therefore, rail project is a city rail coordination support action, and the aim is to explore to several activity and cross-sectional ability within or out of the railway field that may be a result of interest to rail. The Spanish Railway Foundation, just the role is to develop the leader into Work Package 1. And inside we have to Rail Innovative Research Observatory. I think it's very interesting to analyze the different deliverables in this project, because we have to aim is to promote dialogue and collaboration and cross-sectional ability between the railway and another field. Thank you. Next, please. Well, this is my colleague from RC explained more or less activity. We promoting the development of projects. The PTF supports the development of consortium, driving innovate market, partnership working, networking, support key stakeholder, public and private. For us to support, for example, the Renfe, Adif, the big company in railway is very important to push the innovation. Also incubation of innovative market proposal, development and revision of strategic area and innovation vector, organizing technological forum, workshop, and of course to support the working groups. Next, please. This is the activity from the technical secretariat, meetings, representation, provision of letter of support and interest is important activity, collaboration agreement, dissemination of national and international call for proposal. We helped the company, we helped university, we helped the research center, surveys for the monitoring of indicators of the railway sector, treatment of the information, analysis and evaluation. The database is very important and many activities. Next, please. And next, please. Well, for finish, I think it's important to push this activity, this initiative European, is the European Railway Year 2021. We think is a very good opportunity to push the innovation and to competitive from the Spanish railway and to European railway. The goal is to promote that the railway is a sustainable, innovative, and safe mode of transport. We develop in this moment a very interesting program. MITMA, the Minister of Transport, Mobility and Urban Agenda, is the leader and in this task force, and with the guidelines of MITMA, the Spanish Railway Foundation will coordinate the program with the collaboration of key agents and the railway sector. I think it's a very good opportunity for collaborate with another country. This event, this forum, this summit with the PFP is one example. We need sure the PFP in the Spanish program. And thank you very much for your attention. You are your disposal or your answer. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Angeles. It was a very interesting presentation. It was impressed how active you are, shaping the present, defining the strategy for the future, and you are. Spain is our neighbor. So I'm sure that this opens stronger possibilities of cooperation. So I think that we'll be looking for that. Thank you very much, Angeles.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robello. Thank you very much.
We'll go on with our presentations. Now we move to Italy, to Veronica. Veronica is a detective director. And I think that she will also explain how they work and what they are doing in their cluster. Thank you very much, Veronica. The floor is yours. Your microphone, please.
Yeah, sorry. Can you see
yes.
my presentation? Okay, thanks. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here today. What I will do, following my estimate colleagues, will be, let me say, more or less the storytelling about how we are trying to change the way we operate as cluster and the impact we are creating as cluster. I was once said, in fact, at a course for cluster managers that we have not to present ourselves saying who we are. Instead, we have to tell how we are impacting. And so I chose that my keyword for this presentation had to be collaboration. And it's all about what my colleagues and the moderator have said so far. Clusters are by definition built around collaboration. And the collaboration, in my opinion, is at the end the key word of
Veronica?
Yeah?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I believe you are not sharing your screen for the presentation. So
sorry.
if you
My God.
be so kind to share it.
Yeah.
At the bottom
sorry.
down.
Yeah.
Share screen.
Yeah, I try it once again. Sorry, it seems I had problems in this. I got.
If you need help, we
no,
can do it.
Usually not.
Good.
Sorry
Okay,
again. I
perfect.
don't know what happened. Okay, so hi again. I'm
I
Veronica
think
Bocci.
you are suspense. You are keeping the moment to start the presentation, but it was fantastic so far. So
Okay. So now you can also see the concept. Okay, I'm Veronica Elena Bocci. Of course, I'm the coordinator of DTECFIR. And as I was saying, I will try to use this keyword, the collaboration. I chose this among a set of keywords that, in my opinion, have represented last year and our joint effort also as European clusters, because we have learned even more how collaboration among ourselves has been key to address also problems concerning resilience of our value chains, the need for recovery, how to embrace the Green Deal, the twin transition, how to support SMEs, how to solve the problems related to disruptions in the supply chains, and so on. And at the end, the collaboration is the word that has made DTECFIR, being from the regional cluster of Tuscany region, to be the Italian leading cluster in the railway sector. And I decided, because this event is an event under the Portuguese presidency of the European Union, I decided to reuse, allow me that, to reuse some slides that I presented at the last European Cluster Conference, where I was invited by the European Commission to be the speaker representing clusters in the European industrial ecosystem, mobility and transport. And my storytelling that day and today is about the impact, okay? The impact that we are trying to create, and it is about creating economic and social value. So, because of course we have started as a cluster to work on growing business and growing innovation for our members. But at the end, we have to look at the effects of all these activities. And at the end, working in a sector that has to do with the trains and high technological systems, but it's all about moving people and improving the quality of life of people having to move. So we are creating social value. And I will follow, according to this storytelling, I will tell you that no matter the activity that we deliver as DTECFIR cluster, we are doing that, and we are scaling the quality and the contents of our activities through collaboration under European funded projects, no matter the sector. So if we work in the innovation, research and innovation sector, I take the example of the ERCI Task Force on Cybersecurity. It has been for us a great booster that empowered us to know better the topic, the challenges behind it, to understand that also SMEs are not only the large companies and the big operators can do something in the cybersecurity sector to provide new ideas and new solutions. And on that, we have built a series of innovation projects at European level. The same is about for internationalization, because since the very beginning, we have organized participation at railway exhibitions throughout the world for our members. But this is normal. I mean, all of us is doing that. What has changed? It has changed, like Mr. Kruger said, that through another European project, we have improved the way we deliver internationalization support to our members. And we have learned this once again through collaboration with other European clusters. And since we are working on innovation, we have been aware that innovation is not, I mean, if you really want to untap all your potential, you firstly have to change the mindset of your members. I mean, not all of them, but most of them, in the majority, it's about SMEs. They need first to change their mindset. They have to embrace more an open innovation approach to exploit the full potential of their ideas and of the opportunities that are outside their doors. And we have worked on this also, once again, through a European project. And once again, it's, as Mr. Kruger said, about the extra project. At the end, to deliver all this in order to impact, to change things, change things in the sector and in your ecosystem, you have to do that at the most perfect possible way. Okay, you have to be excellent, and that's why we have one more European project that is helping through sharing of best practices and creating new ideas. We are widening the offer of services and activities for our members. And now I want you to say just, one experience. 1.5 years ago, I attended a cluster of change bootcamp. It was a bootcamp of 4 days for persons like us, cluster managers. And it was about understanding for our use case, how to increase the impact, okay, our impact as cluster. And of course, as clusters, we know that collaboration is the key driver and the key enabler. But we understood that it is not just, collaboration for internal purposes, because you want your members to collaborate more among themselves. But in order to, if you really want to scale, to grow at pace and scale, you have to collaborate more with other clusters. And it was very funny, I would like to say, to understand this through gamification, because at the end of 4 days, we took our time in front of a beer and playing like a Monopoly game, but built around the strategy to become super clusters. We understood that at the end, when you really want to grow, when you really want to be a leader, you have to create a series of collaborations with other organizations, okay? So none of them is a competitor, all of them are enablers. And that's why we are here all together today, because being connected with other European railway clusters has been the gold solution for DTECFER to grow. Today, we are happy to say that we have the ERCI network that is helping us to invent new ideas and new solutions for our members. And we have the MOU signed with PFP since more than 1 year. And I want to know that both these opportunities, both these initiatives are not just on paper. They have delivered actual results. And this is very important for us. And talking about collaboration and opportunities, I just wanted to invite all the participants today to enjoy, to exploit the opportunity that we are offering to SMEs, education bodies, and the like operating in the railway sector, because we are offering under the extra project the so-called cluster exchange scheme. It is a kind of Erasmus-like, okay, but shorter than the usual Erasmus. It's the opportunity to spend from 3 to 30 days at the premises of another European organization to learn from it, okay? So just as an example, you could choose as a Portuguese SME to spend some days at the Spanish technological platform to learn more about how, I don't know, how they are innovating a specific topic for the railway sector. Or you can spend some days at the University of Birmingham to know how they are solving other challenges and the like. It's a free, not only a free opportunity, but for the real physical exchanges, we are giving you some money to cover your expenses. So to know more about this opportunity, you can jump on and follow our Twitter and see on our website. And to conclude, my final message is that DTECFER has been creating a new way of being a cluster. And this new way is strongly based on continuous collaboration and sharing with the other European railway clusters. This was our recipe for becoming the leading railway cluster in Italy. And we use EU projects not just, let me say, to fund some human effort inside our organization. EU funding for us are really tools to improve the way we work and the way we impact creating and delivering new innovative services. This is how we are contributing to make the Europe's rail even more innovative and competitive on the longer term. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Veronica. Very, very interesting. Thank you for telling us such a successful story. So, telling story that you mentioned, it is indeed, and I congratulate you for picking up the right word, collaboration. I think it's perfect for this.
My pleasure.
For this forum also. So we are a little late, so I will ask Ignazi and Alexander to try to either to reduce a little your presentation or at least to not to take it too long. And now we go immediately to Ignazi Gomes Belinjon from the Rail Group. Ignazi.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to share my screen. You can see it.
You can see your screen, but not the presentation yet.
Now it's okay?
Not yet.
You see it?
No.
It has been shown in my screen that I'm sharing the screen.
You are showing a screen, but not the screen of the presentation.
Again. Let me try again. If not, I will send it to you. Nothing?
Not yet.
Not
Ignacio,
yet.
if you want, I can proceed from here.
I will.
Yes.
No
Seems
problem.
again that we have difficulties. Let me try not to share it. It was. Wait a minute. Send it to Pablo.
Yeah, hold on. In fact, not yet.
Pablo is.
Okay, if you give me the floor, I will. If you give me the share screen,
Yeah.
if you leave it, I will pick it up from here and proceed from here.
Yeah, you receive it?
Better.
It was strange because when I checked it at first, it was okay.
Okay, if you don't mind.
All right. This is the last one I have just sent you by mail. Is that so?
I believe that now we are okay. Hold on.
I'm seeing it. It's the one I have just sent it to you by mail.
Okay.
Just
Nevertheless,
1 second ago.
I believe we are already under my screen, so the floor is yours. The presentation is already online.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much all the attendants and for Portuguese Ferroviaria platform to organize this summit. It's very interesting. Also, just to add, and as Mr. Rebelo mentioned, we are short of time. I will try to summarize my presentation. We have been talking a lot about ERCI, about the need of having common platforms at state level, as Angels mentioned, and also the need of combining efforts in terms of cooperation. I will base my presentation giving you some data on our cluster, but also my point is to emphasize in the need of a strategy, a common strategy. If we are related as rail group cluster, as rail-based mobility and multimodal logistics, I think a seamless operation across Europe is much more needed than ever. So this is going to be my point. Next, please. Right. This is just a screen to try to infographically to show you the complexity of today's mobility. It's not just to be centered on trains. From our point of view, we need to be centered onto livability. Is the thing that is going to force us to do things. So mobility is derived from that. It's not the main issue. So livability is our focus, and it's very complex. And complexity means innovation opportunities. The dynamics is going to change. Next. Our model, a return on value model, of course, is based upon this strategy, is adapted for every member, is based on the capabilities and interests, and it's tailored fine-tuning meetings and many more. And of course, based upon knowledge, cooperation, technological innovation, and a sectoral vision. Next. We are the largest cluster in Spain up to date. We were founded in 2002. And in this third strategical step, we have been focusing towards these new scenarios, as I mentioned. I invite you all to scroll up and down and left to right in our web, and you will see some of the activities we promote. We have a specific return on value based upon knowledge management, insights, projects, and internationalization. And a specific focus, well, you can see our members. Next. And we define ourselves as an open innovation community, open innovation brokers. That is, we promote the cluster connectivity, as Veronica mentioned, it's crucial. Of course, we try to be relevant scopes in different issues that are related to this complexity in terms of mobility. Of course, we deal with the new terms of governance of management and focusing into monitoring, fine-tuning, and evolution of the different projects that we promote. Next. Founder members of ERCI, Dirk has been talking on ERCI, but 2,000 SMEs reached, I think is quite remarkable if we want to be cooperating along Europe, south to north, welcoming Portugal on board whenever possible, of course, and up to Denmark. Yeah, let me give you some words on the new scenarios. This is from ERAC. I mean, it's from the European Rail Research Advisory Council. I do recommend very much, and Plataforma Ferroviaria Española has done a lot of good work in deploying this strategy, but this is extremely important. This is ERAC 2030 strategy. I recommend to read it. Railway, the backbone of mobility in 2030. It means that it's not just a matter of digitalization, also to focus on digital mobility. This is very different. Of course, we need to assure a very sound digitalization of the railway operation. And also it will, as I mentioned, focus towards new governance, cross-sectoral cooperation, upwelling of opportunities in health, in cybersecurity, in big data, and many more. I do recommend this document that, as I mentioned, PTFE just launched and deployed and promoted past year. And up to date has been an update of this document. We do emphasize in door-to-door mobility. It's not just railway. It's mobility as a consequence of livability. This is very important. And next, please. It forces us to focus onto digitalization and automation. That means connectivity at all levels. It also matters to be able to become smart infrastructures dealers. It's not just a matter of putting rails and put trains over it. The importance is to help this smart infrastructure, by means of this smart infrastructure, help the operators to concentrate onto the digital client. This is the strategy. Next, and many more. But do not forget that if we are going to proceed towards sustainability in territories, rail is 9 times less CO2 produces than the rest of modes, and we need to use it. So sustainability of territories as an enhancer and shift to rail is the correct answer by means of using that, right? Next. 20 times safer. We need to promote that, but also on security. It's not just safety. So then our proposal for the next year, based upon these documents and many others, is to concentrate on livability, to concentrate on new business models and the user profile segmentation of the clients. The liberalization of the markets is going to take a lot of efforts to, the current operators to adapt, but also going to pop up much more opportunities and much more complex. And of course, technological cooperation is a must for the next scenarios. Some projects as examples. So then as open innovation brokers, I thought that maybe to show you some of our projects, we are dealing with roughly 200 project opportunities per year. Roughly 10% per year are finalists, depending on the ability of goals. Of course, we have been promoting shift to rail, and some of our members, due to ERCI, we have the success rate very high on that. And 5% roughly of the projects along the year are winners. So it's not bad. In terms of international BIDs, we have a 2% success rate on these BID internationals. But let me sorry, a little bit scroll back. Yes, this was the very first time that we talk about smart mobility. We talked to that with Angels in their offices in Madrid 9 years ago, Angeles, 9 years ago. It was the first project in Spain to talk about the user of the future. And one of the members in this project was Mr. Felix Martin. Felix Martin is currently the director of the Renfe Hablo, the low-cost, high-speed train in Spain. So I think this is important. The very first project in Spain with the support of the Plataforma dealing with the user of the future. Okay, next, many more. But also the first parks and ride in Catalonia. If we need to be door-to-door, we need to deal with this intermodality in terms of passengers. So the very first 5 in Catalonia. Also in terms of very innovative platforms for rolling stock traceability from our members, and now in concept for Alstom, and also shortlisted for Singapore Land Transport Authority and the operators there, SBS, SMR, RT, and more. Next, please. Oops, I was frozen.
You're okay. You're on.
It's frozen.
DICTAP, Rolling Stock Traceability Platform.
Yes, next, please. All right, yes. Also, we have been dealing with the first BIM projects that has been awarded for intermodal. It was the building of multimodal platforms and terminals in Spain. Next. And also, as for instance, the smart infrastructure for prediction of critical failure modes, starting 6 years ago by using ultrasonic devices to kick the rail and then analyze the signal back. And then from this beginning to the IoT wireless monitoring in the rail industry for network A, for instance, interpreting the results or being able to determine the profile of the wheel up to 80 kilometers per hour and with a precision of 0.05 millimeters. So it's condition-based maintenance, the issue. Next. Well, also in healthy rail projects, we have been the very first to cross with health and rail. And up to now, we apply this project, next please, Paolo, in I think very interesting project that has been awarded that is called anomaly. Anomaly means to detect anomalies in terms of behavior, so that is security, and also in terms of digital anomalies. And the first application, the first applying is going to be in preventing from behavioral violence and suicides for a metropolitan operator in Catalonia. Dealing with universal accessibility for the metropolitan area with blind people, and also ODS. In ODS, we are dealing with Altran, the consultant pharmacy, and also scoping the impact for the Land Transport Authority in Barcelona. Next. I don't want to bother you, but 200 per year is a lot. Eco-innovation. I think this could be one of the words of the future. We have been producing 3 reports on that end, and also now we have leading a new work team, and eco-design is going to be one of the words. Next. Recently awarded the entrance project from the European Union, and is the scope is accelerating the market access and scale up of first of a kind zero emission sustainable transport solutions, multimodal logistics. Also another project that is the logistics hotel, multimodal logistics hotel, that is dealing with the very different services in logistic terms, and from the last mile to the feeding of this mile. Also producing reports for the Mobile World Capital and the Collider in terms of the challenges for mobility. Was past year, and of course I'm finishing by means of extra project that is for me is very important to read about the excellence exchange and teaming up between railway clusters and ecosystems. For me, this could be our conclusion. This is going to be a must for Europe, and of course I'm sure by means of cooperation we are going to do it. So thank you very much, and at your disposal for answering questions.
Thank you very much, Ignazi. Thank you for effort on compacting such a rich presentation. I'm not sure if we managed to reduce to the time, but anyway, the next task will be from Alexander Barros from the Rail Alliance. Alexander, the floor is yours, and I really expect from you that to keep the time, because Paulo Duarte will never invite me anymore to be a moderator, because I was terrible with managing the time. But your contribution are so rich that it is difficult for me to cut your time. Alexander, the word is yours.
No problem. Thank you very much. I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you very much. I'll try and rattle through this as quickly as possible. My name's Alex Burrows. I work lead the Rail Alliance here in the UK. We're obviously absolutely delighted to be working as part of the European Rail Clusters initiative with our partners from all across Europe. And as you might imagine, that's quite a key statement for us, given our geographical location. So very quickly, the Rail Alliance is the UK's rail cluster. We've changed our business model after we were integrated, or the Rail Alliance was brought into the University of Birmingham a couple of years ago, and is now part of the Birmingham Centre for Railway Research and Education, where I'm a director. By changing the business model, we actually now have over 800 members, of which just over 90% of those are SMEs. And we've really brought out a focus on research, development and innovation and skills and training, in addition to the networking and engagement opportunities that we offer as a rail cluster. And as you'd imagine, as a university group, the research aspect and innovation aspect are particularly strong for us, and one where we can provide real value to our members. I don't want to go into much detail on the context of railway in the UK at the moment, just to say though that we're in a period of transition in so many ways here in the UK, but from a rail perspective, the franchising system has just collapsed. And we are in the process of transitioning to a new form for providing train operating companies with deals to provide services to passengers in the UK. So more will become clear over the course of the next year or two. Obviously, a major project in the UK is High Speed 2, and a big part of the work we're doing at the Rail Alliance is to introduce SMEs to the range of offerings and opportunities that are available as part of this major new infrastructure project that will be building a high-speed rail line through the spine of the UK over the next decade. But oh, sorry, I've jumped on, but I'll carry on. I wanted to focus in though on three key technologies, three key challenges for the rail industry, and those three are digitalization, decarbonisation, and innovation. And to start off with digitalization, just a reminder from a quote from the European Parliament on what digitalization actually incorporates, and it's the application of digital technologies and the systems we put around them in order to derive value from them. And digitalization is key to the rail industry. And my colleagues and predecessors have already talked a lot about this in great detail. But as a reminder, the real value to come out of that is both in terms of the demand side, in terms of improving the situation for the customers of the railway, the passengers and freight companies, as well as for the supply industry, the supply side as well, in terms of increasing efficiency, reducing costs, and providing improved services. And those really come down to four main technologies that are being introduced to the railway. And we at the University of Birmingham are very much focused on all four of these and helping our SME companies in our cluster to take advantage of them. So there's the Internet of Things, there's cloud computing, there's big data and data analytics, and finally there's automation and robotics. And each of those, if rail can harness them, can play a major part in providing real value, increased value to the railway. And just to pick out one of those, in terms of data analytics, I think we all are very much aware of the opportunity that the collation, management and analysis of data provides us with the means of not just understanding how the railway is operating in the present, but allowing us to then use artificial intelligence to predict when we're going to see problems arise on the railway. And my hypothesis here, as you can see, is very much around how digitalization, the increasing penetration of digitalization, will bring major opportunities. But to get those opportunities, the railway needs to be open-minded and embrace innovation and embrace those opportunities as they arise. So for decarbonisation, I think we all know these statistics. I've used ones from the International Energy Association. In terms of rail's share of global emissions is low, anyway at 0.3%, but it's especially low when you consider the amount of journeys that the railway provides relative to those emissions. And so we can say with very confidently that rail is the most energy efficient form of powered transport. And where we come into play in the cluster is how do we actually support that decarbonisation agenda? How do we help phase out the use of diesel? How do we improve energy efficiency, both of rolling stock and of infrastructure? And how can we develop the solutions and get them onto the railway more effectively? And one project I want to highlight to you is the Hydroflex project that we at the Rail Alliance with the University of Birmingham and our industrial partner Porterbrook built the UK's first hydrogen train, which is running on the mainline railway now in trials in less than 2 years. And that was a great example of bringing together academia and industry to drive forward a headline project rapidly, to take out a lot of the risk and to introduce the supply chain and supply chain opportunities into that project. And so we've brought about not just the acceleration of a project in terms of a new operating hydrogen train, but have introduced a huge number of potential suppliers from other industries into rail to provide green hydrogen, hydrogen refueling systems, all of that kind of opportunity. And that leads me to my conclusion, which is around innovation and why do we innovate? Why do we need to innovate and what can we get out of it? And it's really around solving those challenges like decarbonisation, as well as using new technologies from digital technologies with digitalisation in order to drive those improvements, those efficiencies in the railway, and to meet the needs of customers. Because remember, these customers will also be using cars and planes, and they will see technologies being deployed in those industries, and we can't be seen to be backwards as the rail sector. We need to be addressing digitalization and decarbonisation head on, and innovation is central to achieving that. So on that note, I'd like to finish, say thank you very much. Apologies for being brief, but I hope that was helpful. Thank you.
It was indeed, Alexander, it was helpful. Thank you very much. Anyway, I think that we were impressed with your presentation, and I'm sure that a lot of questions would come if we are not short on time. So I think that anyway, we will have some time for questions. I think that we have to reduce to 5 minutes, if it's okay, Paulo. At least we have one question from the audience. We have a few questions, but anyway, I will select one. Is a question for Angeles. What is currently happening with regards to vibration sensor monitoring on the trains in Spain? I'm sure this will take another more 20 minutes to explain, but if you can be brief in replying to this question, I will ask again. What is currently, if you know what is currently happening with regards to vibration sensor monitoring on the trains in Spain? Sorry, your microphone is unmute. Is mute.
Well, in Spain, the vision of the currently into railways, I explained in the presentation, is the innovation is about the minister, but all the minister is connecting to develop the agenda about the future of the railways. In this moment is a very important moment for the Minister of Transport and Mobility, because we are in the process about Spanish mobility strategy. And this process is all time the Minister for Transport push the activity, but the call to promote the national innovation is in the Minister of R&D. And just the PTF work together with the different minister for have a very good vision, because also they have the Ministry of Agenda, and they have different call also for the industry. And we try with the PTF to connect the different administration to respond all the key agents in the railway.
Thank you very much, Angeles. So we have a few more questions from the audience, but I think they are too much in detail, so maybe we can skip them. I was especially impressed by the two main words: the collaboration that Veronica shared with us, and also innovation. And the major part of you spoke about both very strongly. And I was also impressed by the open innovation community concept that I would like to ask you more. So I think that in order to finish, maybe I will give you 2 minutes, any of you, all of you, to say something about, to elaborate something about what can be done in the future to stronger our cooperation, our collaboration, and a global collaboration, and open innovation community. If this is okay with you, I will start maybe with Dirk Kruger. Is it okay with you? If you, in 2 minutes, you can briefly give us a bit what is your concept for the future in these terms? What can we do in the future?
Sorry, can
Well,
you
yes.
shorter, because
Sorry.
at 11 we need to start the second panel, so it needs to really fast, please.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Okay, I sum up quickly. I'm a believer that we need to strengthen the European approach, European community, in terms of the outside look to Europe. But on the other hand, we need to keep up our regional diversities and the creativity that comes out of local activities, of bilateral activities, and those type of things. But what we definitely need to do is connect more stronger the different actors across national borders, across countries in Europe, but also across industries. So to speed up the creativity. And as my predecessor, Jean Verrier, described it, our role is being the catalyst in a chemical reaction. So this is what we need to do. We need to speed up the chemical reaction of innovation, of delivering new value, of delivering new business activities. And then eventually this will lead to a better world for all of us. And so to have a very broad picture, but and this is it. And that's what we can do, as simple as this, but as complicated as this as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So I just 2 minutes from you. Angeles, do you want to share also your concept about the cooperation? What can we do more in collaboration and innovation, collaborative innovation in the future? In 2 minutes, please be short, because Paul is already
sorry, João, we don't have 2 minutes. It's 10:57. We have 3 minutes to finish the show and pass our sponsors. So anyway, sorry to interrupt. In fact, yes, we can do a closing for each one of you, but please, just a short sentence, because definitely we have the minister timetable that is pushing us to attend. Sorry.
Okay.
So Angeles, your point of view, please. A final remark.
About open innovation?
No, just about the panel itself.
We are very glad for this debate. We need more time. It's very interesting. I like you explain another experience, but thank you for this opportunity. The PTF is open for the PFP for all the Portuguese company and agent. We like to continue to collaboration and to help or maybe have the collaboration from the Portuguese company. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Definitely, we will do it in Iberia point of view.
Veronica, you want to share also one final sentence with us?
Yes, please. My final challenge is that I think that we have now as cluster managers to enable our members to make full use of European collaboration as we are doing as clusters, because they knew how, together with us, to engage with the other clusters from other countries and regions, but also through the extra cluster exchange scheme, they can now go on their own 2 feet. This is what we need to do, to offer them these kind of opportunities, because our time as cluster manager is limited. And if we want to have more impact, we have to enable each of our members to fully benefit from what we built for them. But they have to do that on their own. Yeah.
Thank you, Veronica. Ignasi, same question.
Yeah, I think it's open. Thank you very much. I think to add something else, I think first of all we need to, of course, concentrate on giving the citizens a much better access to mobility altogether. And this is something that by means of the clusters and the clusters centered towards a technological cooperation is something that we can do it all across Europe. So cooperating in technological terms is key.
Thank you very much, Ignasi.
Alexander? Sorry. Helmut?
The rail industry absolutely must embrace innovation to take forward and address these challenges that everyone else has mentioned.
Thank you very much. So, Paulo, I think that we can close the panel. I'm sorry to be not such a good moderator. I give you too much time, but I think at the end, I think it was very useful for the people that were listening to us, to you. And thank you for inviting me. And from my side, thank you very much.
We thank you all, and we will do a short break for our sponsors presentation, and we'll be just right back. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The floor is yours, Ricardo.
Founded in 1998, Incomif Group develops, designs and manufactures tailor-made industrial solutions for large companies in the rail, aeronautical, automotive, energy and other sectors. Thanks to our multidisciplinary engineering team, Incomif Group is able to adapt to the needs of its customers, end users and/or integrators. Our competencies allow us to cover industrial solutions that integrate mechanical engineering combined with automation, robotics and artificial vision. More than an industrial company, Incomif Group stands out for its innovation and flexibility to present its customers with customized industrial solutions, regardless of the sector in which they operate.
From the very beginning, we feel the urge to move and discover the world. We walk, ride, drive, and travel. We're always on the move to learn, work, relax, keep fit, explore, and of course, to meet each other. When we can't, we confine our very nature. We depend on mobility for ourselves and for moving all those things we need and want in life. We've always been very ingenious when it comes to getting ahead faster, more safely, more reliably, and with greater comfort. Today, we need new solutions for new challenges. This is what drives us. This is why we're so passionate about mobility and always go that extra mile to move beyond what's possible today. We are pioneers in transportation, helping our customers keep the world in motion. As their trusted partner, we create ways to move people sustainably and seamlessly, from the first mile to the last. This is our vision. This is what we're moving toward. And beyond.
Hi, here we are again.
Hello.
This is the last panel of the Portugal Railway Summit. Welcome back. Now we will proceed for the future of railways, and this panel will be led by our moderator, Mr. François Daven, General Manager of UESI, that will pass the ball immediately. Please, the floor is yours, Mr. François. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Paolo. So I will try to be brief introducing the panel. First of all, I'm quite honored to moderate this panel. I think indeed the question of what will be the future of railways it's absolutely a key one. I think we have a very good panel with Hyperloop with David Pistoni, CEO of Zeleros, something on digitalization by Jean Araujo, President of Thales Portugal, Green Deal with Paulo Marques, Innovation Director at Catena Bus, and retrofitting with Petro Moreira from CP. So we will have a quite complete overview of what could be the future of rail. And well, allow me to say a few words from UIC point of view. As you know, UIC is a worldwide association of railways with a tech focus. So innovation is our DNA. We are providing the leaflets that are giving some consistency to the operation feature within worldwide railways. And this year is quite particular for UIC because it will be both the European Year of Rail and our centenary. So the question of future is really very important. In my few introductory words about future for railway, I think what is very important is also to be in the context of what is happening. And I think there is two main driver. One, it's decarbonation. It has been evoked quite a few times before, so I will not be very on it. But I think what we all understand that there is a sense of urgency for decarbonation, and railways are definitely a part of the solution because it has been recalled that we are 9 times less emitting than any other mode. So the question of shift to rail is definitely a key question. But it's also a key question in the light of the COVID-19 crisis that we have experienced this year. It has changed really the expectations of people regarding transport, regarding the way they are living. They are wanting, in particular in city, less congestion, less noise, less pollution. And that again is something that rail is able to bring forward. So I think for us, as I said, there is a sense of urgency because we want to cope with decarbonation to reach zero net emission economy by 2050, sorry, we need to accelerate strongly. So we need to invest more, we need to innovate. That's what have been said through all the presentation, but more than that, we need to integrate. It will only be a systemic change, a systemic, in a way, a change of paradigm for transport that would allow indeed to have this massive modal shift to rail and to public transport. And what I want to highlight here is that mainly the complementarity that are now possible for technology. For UIC, we are very keen to promote digitalization and in particular the development of 5G. As you know, UIC is doing the specification for FRMCS, which basically will be 5G for railways. And the conjunction of digitalization and high throughput networks that 5G will bring to railways will enable to use automation, to use artificial intelligence, and to overcome cyber risk. So it will definitely accelerate the cycle of innovation. And what we have before us, and I think we will see that in the very interesting presentation we will see today, is how to integrate all those different bricks to be sure that railway becomes a backbone of overland mobility. I will not insist too much on the technical solution. You will do it, I'm sure, in your presentation. I will just say that tomorrow we have an event at UIC, which is about a new brochure that you see on the top of this slide, which is technical solution for the operational railway, which basically make a resume of all the technical solutions that we are providing for the present railway and for the future railway. So it's tomorrow at noon, so if you are interested in. And I will finish my presentation about something that for us at UIC is very important because we have a very strong role in terms of advocacy, is that all those technical evolution will be able to make modal shift desirable. So we have to shift the expectations of our fellow citizens and of our customers Well, and there is two components here very rapidly, is that rail is a frugal mode of transport. And this concept of frugality will be very important in the coming years, because indeed zero carbon emission will be only possible if we have a frugal use of all our assets. And that's very important that today, for example, we have something about retrofitting, because that's also one of the components that makes railways very efficient in terms of frugality, of low emissions, because we have very long life cycle and we have scalable assets. And we need also to develop new capabilities. I think with Thales we will heard of that, and also with Hyperloop. And that's something we are saying repeatedly at UIC. I think we have to associate new words to rail. We have to show that indeed we are the future, not only in terms of innovation, but also in terms of contact with customer and citizen. We have to associate to rail flexibility, simplicity, and liberty. So that's words that are more or less more associated to individual vehicle, but I think it could be possible in the mind of our customer and citizen to associate rail more to those very beautiful words. So I think I did that no more than 5 minutes. So let's try to keep the timing. And without further ado, I will give the floor to David Pistoni. So David, please.
Luis, ¿puedes seguir? ¿Tienes que compartir tu pantalla?
Yes, but you need to stop sharing, François.
François, est-ce que vous pouvez arrêter la présentation?
Oui, mais alors par contre, je ne sais pas comment je fais là-dessus. Excusez-moi. OK, it stopped or not?
Yes.
Okay, now, Luis.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Luis Navarro. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Hyperloop. It is my pleasure to be here with such a distinguished roundtable. Operator, of course, thank you very much, Plataforma Ferroviaria Portuguesa, invitation. And well, today I'm here just to give a snapshot about the Hyperloop ecosystem, how it is evolving, and then for a while, just bring you some highlights about how we can say we can work together with the ecosystem of railway here in Europe and worldwide. But first, as you know, every time that Hyperloop calls the door, you know, there's some information missing. Let me just wrap up with the main concepts. So Hyperloop calls for the fifth mode of transport and basically consists on a train or a vehicle that levitates and travels through a low pressure tube. Therefore, we can reproduce the conditions, the low pressure conditions that aircrafts they have up in the sky, and we can minimize the friction between the vehicle and the air. Therefore, we can reach up to 1,000 kilometers per hour with a very low energy consumption. Also, the fact that we are comprised within a tube gives us weatherproof capabilities. The fact that we are electric gives us also the feature that we are zero direct emissions. And also because the vehicle is confined, that we can control, we can say, the interaction with the environment, the Hyperloop is envisaged to become a city center to city center being of transport. About the history and origins of Hyperloop, well, even if it sounds quite futuristic, the reality it was firstly described more than 200 years ago, actually in line with the first description of the railway. However, instead of being developed, that was firstly, we can say, proposed to connect the UK and India in order to trade with the species. The reality is that non-commercial, we can say, pilot or prototype really succeed and reach the market. Some years later, in 2013, Elon Musk rebranded the concept, launched, we can say, a startup and the university competition worldwide. And from that moment, now there's an international race to develop Hyperloop worldwide. There are 6 companies, among them, of course, Celeros from Spain, that we are developing this innovative system. And the good news is that now we can say during the last 2 years, we can say the path has been quite accelerated thanks to the support from the institutions such as the European Commission and also in the US. But is just a technology race, or are we solving real problems? Well, of course, second. I mean, as Francois mentioned, this is fully aligned with the challenges that we need to overcome in terms of decarbonization of the transport segment. Also, if we see to one of the main transport technologies, which is aviation, we can definitely become a lever to stop one of the main pains, which is the air traffic saturation. No, of course, not now with the COVID, but once we recover from that, pretty soon for sure, that will be a problem again. And we need levers and technology to overcome this. And of course, according to the UN, in 1950, more than 90% of the population will live in cities in the developed countries. And this is something that we need to cope right now. And existing technologies will struggle to find solutions, user-friendly solutions for that. So we need more things to bring into the table. So to give perspective about in which range we are moving when we talk about Hyperloop, the proposal, we can say, or the concept that we envisage from Celerus is that we will probably promote, we can say, a model shift from the short-haul aviation, and also will compete directly against the bullet train or even the maglev. However, we believe that there's a natural, we can say, complementarity between the high-speed rail and the long-haul aviation. So they will be, each means of transport will be placed in the ranges where they are really effective and efficient in terms of energy consumption, in terms of emissions, and so on. In order to this, for this technology to become a reality, there are challenges as well. Just to think about the initial challenges that the rail faced 200 years ago, aircraft as well. What is necessary for this technology to succeed? Well, mainly three things. The first one is the technology readiness. So the Hyperloop developers will need to move really fast to develop our technologies and to bring a real and safe technology into the market. Also, the certification journey. This last year, 2020, has been a massive advance in this sense, because the first joint technical committee for Hyperloop specifically was founded in Europe under the umbrella of Sensenelec, and also in the States, there's we can say a mirror initiative getting strong in that market. And of course, the market readiness, the go-to-market, the market acceptance. Whoever, I mean, if people needs to be transported at 1,000 kilometers per hour within a vehicle, you know, embedded into a tube, there's a lot of information and dissemination that we need to achieve. And also the markets, also the clients, the governments needs to see the real benefits that Hyperloop can bring into the regions. So those are the three pillars that we are moving towards the consecution and the commercial deployment of Hyperloop. And why, where's the carrot? So the carrot is basically a trial and error opportunity. There's a chance to really bring a new technology, a new infrastructure that facilitates and facilitates citizens' lives and complements existing technologies. In Europe, for instance, we have envisaged more than 1,500 kilometers of potential Hyperloop network to be, of course, deployed in the next 50, 60 years. That means 550 million passengers move per year. And that's a massive amount of CO2 emissions avoided. And of course, a really interesting business opportunity for all of us. Now, let me just brief you about what we are doing at Celerus. As I mentioned before, we are one of the main developers here based in Spain with our really specific and singular proposal in terms of technology. Our technology consists on a vehicle that is, we can say, inspired in an electric aircraft. This is why we incorporated a compressor. And the compressor is, we can say, is propelled by electric powertrain and batteries. That's very good because we can avoid basically the use of a linear motor that propels the system during the entire track. Therefore, we can reduce the cost per kilometer of infrastructure, and we are closer to the high-speed railway, being much more competitive to be in that place, in that natural place that we want to be placed. Also, we can operate at higher pressure levels, and we can simplify maintenance because we can say that most part of the technology is at the vehicle. So the infrastructure is really, we can say, light. We are based in Valencia, 35 engineers, mavericks, I would say, are working day and night to develop this system. And we are really proud because it's not just that we founded this company and that now in a really good position in terms of technology development, but we have also received support from different corporates and venture capital by means of closing an investment round in 2020 within the middle of the storm, COVID storm, which was quite massive achievement really to us. And then 150 people are involved in our project, collaborating with top tier companies worldwide. What is our master plan? We aim to be market ready in 2030. That means we will have the capacity to sell and deliver vehicles for that time. Of course, there are external conditions related to when the construction of the infrastructure will start, but this is our internal plan and this is what we are pursuing. To achieve that, later this year, we will start the construction of a test track here in Spain that will allow us to test and validate the technologies integrated in a 1/3 scale vehicle. After that, we will start in 2025 the construction of our first commercial vehicle, the first prototype and pre-series, and that will help us to, we can say, carry with the certification period, which is one of the big things to be achieved. And just to recall why we do believe that that's possible, 2030, it seems like is next door. Yeah, because the technology choice that we made allow us to really take a lot of inputs and a lot of standards and procedures and technology and know-how from the rail and also the aviation, because we are operating at similar pressures than aviation. Therefore, for the certification, that's a massive achievement in terms of shortening the cost and time to be market ready, because certification and safety is a must, as you, of course, will agree. And now let me just brief about some ideas that we believe that we can contribute from a very humble position to the railway family. Okay, because even the transformative power of railway, of course, is vast, and this family, this segment, this industry has demonstrated, has been a backbone, to the really linked to the growth of Europe, of course, and also the States in terms of wellness and so on. It is also true that there are some limitations, such as, for instance, the lack of, we can say, passenger traffic capacity in Europe, only capturing 6% of those, and most part transferred to the aviation. Also, from the technology perspective and the speed is important. Of course, when you shorten the distances, the routes, it's not that important. But then when you go further, of course, the comfort of the passenger is critical, is key. So in that sense, even the technology is really mature, and there are some demonstrations. The UIC, François is here as well, has claimed in several reports that 360 kilometers per hour should be, we can say, the sort of limit to become in the balance, in the trade-off between speed and cost effectiveness, okay? And also, of course, the fact that we are exposed to weather conditions as a natural means of transport. In that sense, we can bring some sneak peeks, we can bring some advantages by means of incorporating Hyperloop to the railway family. And one of the things are basically coping with those limitations. One is to increase the shift, from air to land, in that sense, in terms of passenger traffic in Europe, in mainland Europe. Also to extend, we can say, the typical routes of rail, getting this additional capacity, and of course capturing also part of the cargo that now is, we can say, transferred to the aviation with a very nice premiums, because it's less than 5% in terms of volume, but more than 30% in terms of value. And that's something that Hyperloop probably will be able to capture, because the value is aligned with what aviation can bring. And in that sense, we position ourselves with a very humble position here, just to contribute and to be part of this family, aiming to learn and to bring value as a technologist and as a person that people that we are looking forward to contribute to the transport worldwide and especially here in Europe. And of course, similar connecting, for instance, Lisbon and Madrid. That's a dream come true. High speed, of course, can bring a lot of value here, but well, 50 minutes, quite decent capacity. That's something that we can explore. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure.
Okay, so thank you very much for this inspiring presentation. I hope that you can see me anyway. We will continue with digitalization, and well, I think that as you perhaps know, UIC has a MOU with IATA. Perhaps one day we'll have a MOU with you for the ticketing. Actually, we'll see. You don't know. And without further ado, Jean Salguero will speak about digitalization. So please.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I hope you have my screen now on your screens.
Yes.
Okay, is it correct?
Yep.
Okay. Good morning to all. Good morning, organization, members of this panel, and the audience in general. I would like to start thanking Paulo Duarte and the Plataforma Ferroviária Portuguesa for inviting me to share Thales' vision on digitalization in the railways. That is definitely a hot topic today. And when speaking about digitalization, I always tend to remember that in the foundations of digitalization, we have the binary states, the logic states, 0 and 1, false and truth. And when I connect this with the railways, there is always an image that comes to my mind. And the image is this one. And for those who know this, a relay and a relay interlocking, this means that in the railways, we are being digital for quite a long time. And so using relays, we are being digital quite a long time. But in fact, digitalization in the Portuguese railway started also the real digitalization of the rail network started a few years ago in the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, with a critical and a strategic decision to jump from relay and electromechanic interlockings into the solid state interlockings. And from that time, and we have here an image of some realizations from that time, a long travel has been done in terms of train signaling, as well in terms of the associated disciplines and technologies that goes along, namely the telecommunications and the train and the train control. And in fact, when we look back to the beginning of the 90s and we see where we are today, it is clear that there was an evolution on the demands, an evolution on the needs of the railway. And I used to play a little and to have a joke on that, comparing the evolution that we found in the railways with the evolution of the man and these basic needs. And so I used to make a comparison between the pyramid of the basic needs of Maslow with what happened in the rail, because we assisted to the progression in the last years, in the progression along this pyramid. And so in the beginning, we were on the basic needs, and we were in the field of the basic infrastructure. And what did we do? We changed, as I mentioned, relay and electromechanic interlockings for solid state interlockings. We jumped from paper insulated balanced copper cables into optical fiber cables. We jumped from analog carriers to digital transmission systems, later IP, MLS. We changed from proprietary voice communications into standard IP-based PABXs, and we moved from proprietary analog radios to digital radios. This was the first step, and we created the basic infrastructure with enhanced requirements. Then it was the time to jump to the next level, the safety needs. And in this moment, we defined it as an opportunity to increase ridership, because it was proven that two important factors to increase ridership in the network. One is security and security, and the other is information. And then there was a quantum leap in terms of the analog video systems in a station that moved into digital systems in a line, and passenger information jumped from audio announcements in the station to visual and audio announcements in a complete line. But we had more to progress. And then we jumped into the increased control domain, and video analytics entered in the video with capability to automatically detect abandoned objects, motion detection, face recognition, fraud recognition, occupancy measurement, and also the dispatch centers gain in perimeter, in scope, in accountability. And from the local control centers, we jump to line or region-wide control centers. All these from analog systems into digital systems. And one, not final, but one more recent area is the enlarged services, where we find line passenger information jumped, included not only the information, but also the entertainment. The line coverage jumped into region coverage and multimodal approach. The wayside information in which we give information to the users jumped on board, and now there is the possibility, and we see in Portugal, information and entertainment on board. The ticketing systems, long time ago, jumped from the ticket and the paper tickets into the contactless, and now the dematerialization of the tickets. Wireless, of course, became ubiquitous. We have wireless everywhere. And then smartphones are providing apps, giving us a lot of information when traveling. And so we are growing on the sense of achieving the full potential of technologies. And that's why we say that today we are living the railways digital transformation. And the railways digital transformation brings us not only these technology evolutions that we saw that are not new, but also in terms of industry. And when we look to this, what are the challenges that we brings, we can see that there are two big challenges, one internal and another external. Internally, we see that also our organizations are impacted, I would not say affected, I would say impacted by this transformation, by the change in the culture and the organization, in the appropriation of what we call the digital culture and the digital organization. And the second point is to look at our products and services and look them to the external, look them as the value they provide. And so digital transformation in the railways, when we look to what we deliver to the railways, has these two main folds that defines and designs the way we approach the market. Let's go one by one. In terms of digital culture and organization, clearly smart working processes are of our concern. We are focused on customer. We are focused on identifying and creating value. We need to enhance common practices, process, and tools, not because we're not doing before, but now with the pace the digital transformation takes and the costs that we need to put, this is critical. As well, the cross collaboration. Along with cross collaboration, we have knowledge sharing. More and more digital transformation pushes us to share knowledge internally, share with partners, share with competitors even, create internally transversal communities and share best practices. On the other hand, more technologically, we see great advantage on the creation of competence centers, of agile workplaces with knowledge incubators, where we can capitalize not only our internal knowledge, but share with the community, with academia, with the SMEs, share knowledge to boost and to bring breakthroughs in innovation and technologies where the mindset is now data-driven, use artificial intelligence, focus on user experience and not what we as technological entity would like to, or what the operator as an entity would like to have. No, focus on user experience, because at the end is the user that will benefit and use or not what we provide. Cyber and safety awareness embedded. We can no longer deliver solutions, products, services without concerns on cyber and safety, and using the distributed capability instead of monolithic capacity. And this is in terms of the impact on the organization, culture, and mindset. If we look to the market and if we listen to our customers, and if we listen, for instance, ADIF, user experience, intelligent platforms, intelligent routes as point of concerns in the digital transformation. When we see LTA, tomorrow is driven by technology, seamless connections. When we see RATP with passenger information and comfort, we see where are the focus points, the main concerns of our customers. When we mix this with our vision of the market and the way we think to shape the market, we clearly identify a set of areas and technological areas and domains. Most of them we have internally and we are willing to develop. Others we partner to integrate in our solutions and to together create additional value. And so I drive you through a set of technologies and solutions that brings value in the scope of the railway's digital transformation. I would start with connectivity and digital deployment. Only a few ideas. IoT connectivity is more and more and will be more and more a tool to gather information and to create the information, and from this information generate value. Thales, with the recent acquisition of Gemalto, is now playing a significant role in the IoT world. 5G public-based virtual infrastructures. We don't have 5G, but we work over 5G. We use 5G for IoT and for other applications. Cloud-based services. We are migrating services and solutions on base and as a service models. And here I make a special reference because this is for industry like ours. It is really out of our initial DNA, but small by small, our chromosomes are changing into this new ADN configuration and to dive into as a service models. A second point of a second set of disciplines where the digital value is important is the passenger mobility, security, and video analytics. We are for a long time in the domain, and we are market leaders in the passenger information. And clearly that today the trend is real-time passenger information, including planning and including integration with the ticket handling. The transport titles handling, not only the definition, the proposal, the issuance, and the payment. And then it comes the mobility platform to provide seamless journey experience to the users, in which there is not only one single mode of transport, that there are several modes of transport, including the soft modes. At the passenger mobility, we have to be capable to anticipate and to react to incidents and propose to the users alternative routes and reshape his ticketing and his transport title allocation throughout his journey. With the mobile applications, we can say that we have the network in the palm of your hand. That's what we feel. And today, this is the trend in terms of passenger mobility in the transportation. Augmented reality for better travel experience. It is clearly one technology that brings added value, the augmented reality, not only in the passenger information, but we'll see later on in other activities. And the data integration between video collected in the network, fare collection informations, and other public sources allow us to have a good grip on how travelers behave, how travelers travel, where they go, from, how long, which modes, and all this huge amount of small signals, because each one of these information is a small signals, but all the set of small signals using data analytics, artificial intelligence, allow us to have a good understanding and give us all the informations to be sure that in real time we can permanently reshape and optimize our network. And finally, I conclude this area by an important point, that is data protection and anonymization of data. All this is possible, especially when users can rely that they can provide and open their information to the use and for the benefit without being subject to other uses. And data anonymization is vital to be sure to pass the right message and to show the right mechanisms to protect data for entities and users and travelers to be willing to open their travel information for being processed and to feedback over the network. Another topic in which we see digital value appearing for the future in the railway digital transformation is the data-driven based automation in the OCCs and multimodal environment. Integrated OCCs, this is not new, but there is also still a long way to run. The automation of train regulation, the optimization of supervision, again, the augmented reality and virtual learning for training operators, and also for the simulation and the training of scenarios of disruption, catastrophe, and so on. And this alongs with the real-time incident and event management and decision support tools and simulation tools. And I mentioned augmented reality and virtual learning gives us all the tools to manage, to have the tools to anticipate, to react, but react upon previous exercises and previous simulations. Automation operation is already something that exists and is a reality, but still continues to enlarge. We see train automation mostly in metros. It will come for the rail. We see it also in heavy haul rail in some mining activities. It is a must. Autonomous train with more intelligence on board trains. And also another point important, that is that concerning the Green Deal, the driver assist for energy saving purposes and material wearing optimization, in which we have tools to assist drivers on a perfect driving, to reduce consumption and to reduce the wearing of the material. And again, in all these activities, the cloud-based functions will gradually take place. It is not easy. It is not from one moment to the other, but will take place. And again, some of these services, or most of these services, can be in the future as a service model for these functions and these services. In line with the operation, there is the rail maintenance and all the activities around, in which again the IoT and sensoring, the deployment and the large deployment of sensoring using IoT will allow us to have a permanent view of each point of the network, from the smallest element to the largest element. We can have this information, but we are speaking about such amount of information. Data analytics and artificial intelligence will play a prevalent role to filter from all this and to synthesize all this into a small set of critical decisions. All this will allow us to perform performance and satisfaction monitoring as the base of continuous change, with all this IoT and sensoring, with the, and I forgot to mention it, with the travelers being used as a sensors, in the sense that we can get information from them, and we can also get feedback from the travelers on the way and the conditions that traveling is used. We have physical sensors and human sensors providing us a lot of information that needs to be compiled and manipulated. We have a good view of the behavior, and we have all the tools that I mentioned to permanently reshape and permanently define strategies of improvement the network performance. The use of drones and automatic video analytics for infrastructure inspection, cybersecurity, user experience and user interfaces in order to make all this practical to use and not very bulky and difficult to use applications. And again, on the maintenance, augmented reality and virtual learning, it is a technology to be deployed and to be more promoted in the future. And so I gave you a set of technologies in which we see the future will rely to make the continuation of the railway digital transformation. And with this, railways will be in a position to play its role in the full set of the mobility, in which rail, ferries, trams, metros, buses, all, and also the soft nodes, all this plays the game of the mobility. And here comes another layer of identification and another layer of intelligence that is part of what I've mentioned is the mobility platforms. And through mobility platforms, we use digital information provided by all these different transportation modes, all these transports, the users providing information to get a grip on the way a city or a metropolitan area pulses. And we use this pulses because it is vibrant, it is changing, and it is giving us signals. And so by intelligent processing of mobility information from all these players, as I mentioned, we can continuously improve the network, improve traveling experience. We are able to share transparent KPIs for each one of these entities to better perform, to better articulate modes, including the soft modes, and very important, to reduce waste of energy by the optimization of the offering of the different transportation modes, and very importantly, to intelligently predict and react to congestions, disruptions, and to readapt the network and to have agility. But all this is possible, and this is my last message, by the sharing of data. We all need to be sure that we share data. This data is anonymized, especially on what concerns the end users, the travel, and only with this sharing of data, and only with a layer of intelligence, we can deliver value to the network and generate revenues to all the players that provide data. Gentlemen, thank you. And this is the way we see the future in the railways and in the transportation and in the mobility in general. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jean, for this very complete presentation where you presented all the technologies that could make a smart network out of our different networks. And I think that's really the key miss we can have an integrated network with digitalization. So as we are a little bit short of time, I will give the floor to Paulo Marques for speaking about Green Deal. So Paulo, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we have your presentation.
Are you seeing?
Not yet.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yes.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Firstly, let me say thanks to Paulo and the Plataforma Ferrovia Portuguesa for these invitations. I'm representing Caetano Bus, a bus manufacturer, nothing to do with trains, but let's see through these presentations what we have in common, what were what was made in the past, and what could be done in the future. So a little bit of history of Caetano Bus. Caetano Bus is a bus and coach manufacturer in Portugal, based in Portugal, as the biggest one. We export 80% of our production. We have a worldwide presence, and we are located in the north of the country. We have two companies that are based on UK for UK market, and in Germany the Cobos that is have the presence of the vehicles for airports with a worldwide presence. So the Caetano Bus company is have this structure from the shareholders point of view. So we have Toyota Motor Europe through Toyota Caetano Portugal with us, sharing the 62% of the shares. And then we have Mitsui Corporation, that is a Japanese company with a huge presence on rail activities too. And then after, we are based in Vila Nova de Gaia, where is the head office plant, where we build the vehicles in Portugal, and we are present in the Ovar too, where we have the Toyota Caetano Portugal plant for the light vehicles, LC70 production from Toyota, and the chassis vehicles production. Our products are based since 1946 in the conventional traditional business, where we have the airport buses, we have the coach buses, city buses from diesel to CNG, and the minibuses. This is our conventional mobility solutions. And then after, we have our e-mobility solutions, where we can find out the H2 City Gold, the e-City Gold, electrical vehicles, our chassis electrical vehicles, and the vehicles for the airports. Our presence is worldwide. So currently we are based in Portugal, UK, and Germany from sales point of view and production, but our vehicles are covering the worldwide presence from Americas, North America, South America, from Asia to Europe, where we have some different partnerships with local entities to deploy our solutions through all the world. Let me spoke about a little bit of the last 2 years of launching the platforms, the new platforms that we applied in London, for example. This is a UK-London example where we meet the FEL requirements in the latest designs regarding the bus safety standards. We launched these new platforms in 2 different lengths with different capacities, with different safety systems, different power trains even. But the important was to launch a new platforms 2 years ago, where Caetano Bus starts to be present on what we call the e-mobility, the complete e-mobility range. Why this platform? That's why to launch what we call the H2 City Gold. It was a vehicle, an hydrogen vehicle that used the hydrogen as a gas with a fuel cell stacks. And here we launched in 2019 this platform where we met even the same characteristics of the previous platform, from the 12 to the 10 meters vehicle with different safety systems, with LTO batteries. We increased with this the autonomy of our vehicles. We could go up to 400 kilometers with less consumptions, less CO2 emissions, 0 particulates. And here we have our presence right now in the market since 2020, that we are selling these vehicles to Europe and Asia too. And how we did it? We create a different approach regarding the engineering and the company organization. As a startup approach, we developed a procedure, internal procedure, to be fast to the market, to be agile. As we understand, we need to be in a way, we need to be organized in a way to drop barriers and to bring to the customers, the end customers, different solutions regarding not only the transport mobility solutions, but mobility solutions and emissions, zero emission vehicles. Our R&D teams are organized by system areas. So currently we have all of the areas in-house. So we make 100% body development, mechanics, hardware developments, and software developments. We produce everything by our own from the scratch. and in this way we are more fast, more independent, and to at the end get the correct solution for the different proposals. And let me say that we are what we call it a company to make customized vehicles, custom-made solutions. So here a little bit of our areas of development. So from powertrain to hydrogen hardware integration, from simulations to dynamic efficiency simulations, and here an image of our hydrogen vehicle, of course, in a part of the Toyota fuel cell systems that we are using to bring to the bus market the technology from the passenger car vehicles, and we are being successfully on this approach, and this is our bet to the future. So fuel cell systems, hydrogen, it will be a key mark for energy transition. Just a brief overview of our tests. So from durability, EMC, cold and hot temperatures tests, stability tests. So this is what we can do, and this is our normal activities as a Caetano Bus in the bus business. Regarding sustainability is what we are always discussing. We launched in 2012 a program where we grab from the old vehicles and diesel powertrains and we convert to electrical vehicles. Some of airports worldwide have already these solutions, and this was a program to combine what is a transition not only from new vehicles but old vehicles, and this is a point where we remove the particles from the airports, the NOx emissions, CO2 emissions, because with electrical powertrains we work to zero emissions, and we increase the lifetime of the product, the complete product that are using high quality materials. We increase the lifetime from 10 to 20 years of operation. What about the bus and train alignments? So if you think about the buses, normally the current business is around transport passengers from one point to another, but since many years that the buses are trying to meet the requirements of high capacity passenger transportation systems that is similar from the trains and railways. So since many years, non-traditional transport models and systems were created, environmentally friendly and attractive solutions were deployed. As an example of this first image, that is a double-end steering vehicle that was made by Caetano Bus some years ago in operation in Mont Saint-Michel. This is a vehicle that drives for both way and is steering in the both ends. So they will not turn around this vehicle. It's a two-way vehicle as a train proposed, let's say, because of the limitations on the roads in France. And this is an example when we can transport up to 90 passengers in a 14-meter vehicles with the proposal of a train. Buses as a tractors too, with carriage as a trailers are option 2 up to 23 meters. This solution could drive up to 180 passengers. This is a solution that we already see in the market from some years ago. Again, the buses trying to transport more and more passengers regarding the mobility demands. These are the kind of example that we are seeing in Europe. And of course, the articulated buses, as we all know, and tram-on trials that are from 18 meters up to 50 meters that could transport up to 500 passengers, and these are more common. Nevertheless, these vehicles could be combined with different powertrains. An example of the 80s where we developed and delivered articulated trolley buses to Portugal, or battery electrical vehicles that are the current, let's say, vehicles in the bus markets, and of course hydrogen powered solutions where we are starting from 2 years ago up to now deploying these solutions to meet the requirements of the zero emission for clean operations. And what about the sustainability in the trains application. This is an idea that was launched with Comboios Portugal, CP, and we are very happy to belong to this consortium. So the idea behind this is to retrofit old vehicles from the old powertrains, the diesel powertrains, up to new solutions, zero emissions, and again the sustainability on the rail is quite interesting, and we are very happy to belong to this project. That we will see how it's going in the next futures, and maybe CP in the next presentation we will talk about it. And then after, of course, that the future opportunities regarding the bus and trains, they will be more aligned in the future. So a new type of vehicles will be with new front-end designs. And let me inform you that the bus market is looking for more trains solutions, even more. So the bus as a train in the front is a way of protect the collisions with passengers, with persons, with objects, and to avoid some damage, collateral damage from the safety point of view. And then after, a new tram on tires or articulated buses are in the top of our priorities, because it's a demand from the market. Even more, the market wants to cover this range of capacity that the 12-meter buses don't match, and the train is too big or too expensive. Another opportunity will be to use the current metro rails that are using 750 DC volts. It's the same range of voltage of the buses, so opportunity charging could be a solution or an idea for the next future developments in the bus applications. And new advanced driver assistance systems, as the ADAS is quite known from a while. It will be in place on the buses, not only in cities, on the coach, and in all vehicles that we need to deploy for passenger transportation. And of course, the last one, the alternatives energy storage systems as an hydrogen. We believe and we are committed that hydrogen, it will be not is the most important, is it will be in parallel as electrical vehicles. It will be a solution for zero emission reduction and increase the capacity, the range, even with less downtime of operation. It will be a solution for the future mobility from the bus point of view. And that is it. I was a little bit more fast. Thank you all for this invitation.
Okay, so thank you very much for this quite inspiring presentation, where once again we are speaking about zero carbon economy and complementarity between rail and buses, and that's very interesting to see that we are both progressing towards a hydrogen-based model for part of our respective networks. So thank you so much. And then we will have the presentation on retrofitting by Pedro Jean Santos Silva. Please, well, I think that's perfectly complementary, because we have seen that this retrofitting issue is something that is existing both in railways and in bus industry. And I think that's a very important question if we want to be sustainable in the future, because there is a lot in the Green Deal that is about circular economy. And circular economy, it also begins with the capacity of retrofitting existing rolling stock. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I think everyone is getting my screen. We're going to talk a little bit about the retrofitting, also about the overhaul and refurbishment, of the existing fleet for DCP. And as Francois stated, a very important thing is because railway is an asset-intensive business, so we have to be very frugal. So it's very important to retrofit to take advantage of the assets that we already So just to give you a brief introduction about the refurbishment and retrofitting we are right now going on, and overhauling also vehicles. We are doing this in basically 4 different locations in CP. 2 of them at north in the facilities of Guifões and Contumil, another one in the center in Entroncamento, and another one in Barreiro. Actually, the rolling stock that will be available through these operations, these retrofitting and refurbishment operations, are essentially allowing CP to reduce the stress of operation, to create redundancy to services, and to reduce or eliminate service cancellations. So as I told you, I'm going to go through the different locations we have and try to highlight the processes that we are currently going on. So starting at the Guifões site, we are at this moment refurbishing and retrofitting Schindler coaches, which are Swiss-made coaches. In this case, we are implementing renewed and comfort improved passenger seats. Also, we are applying an improved wearing resistance flooring. We are also applying a new heating system, and also new LED, both interior and exterior signaling lighting. We are also repairing, rebuilding, and reinforcing key structural elements of the structure. And this is also an eco-responsible operation because we are also removing the existing asbestos insulation from the regional Swiss construction. Actually, for this, just to give you a glimpse of the cost benefit of the recovery of this Schindler coaches, we have an average cost per coach of around the 100,000 euros. And actually, the benefits that we are having with them is to comply with the offered timetables for the Douro line and increase demand on this type of line. Also, these coaches are historically they always ran on this Douro line, so they're very typical there. They're very suitable for tourist services, and that is because they have those panoramic windows, which allow you to enjoy the landscape especially. Another advantage that we have is that by having these coaches put to service, we are allowing rolling stock to go to different lines. So we eliminate both service cancellations or problems in the Douro line, but on other lines where other rolling stock are going to be performing service, namely in the Oeste line. So just to give you a glimpse of a little bit of what we're doing, so making all the repairs, the structural repairs, and the new seats, and also the livery according to the original one from when they stopped working. Here in Guifões, we are also refurbishing and retrofitting and making the overhaul for 4 Sorifan coaches. In this case, we have also implemented a new flooring, but also extra comfort passenger seats. We have improved the heating system and made a complete overhaul to the safety systems, and then put this asset back to the operation as well. For these type of coaches, we have an average cost of something like 65,000 euro per coach. And these are very typical coaches and very comfortable. They're very typical from the Portuguese lines. We have increased the comfort, particularly in the first class coaches. And since they are a very reliable and easy to maintain vehicle, they allow an extra availability for these services in the Douro line, also allowing to release rolling stock to other lines, avoiding cancellations, and reducing the pressure on maintenance depots or first level maintenance depots. Here in Guifões, we are also currently overhauling, refurbishing, and retrofitting a set of 36 Arco coaches. So we are starting right now, and at the moment we have an ongoing of 3 sets of coaches, but we will have a total of 36. Well, for these coaches, we are planned and are implementing to renew the passenger seats. So these coaches were the seats which were purchased by CP recently to Renfe. We are also going to apply a new LED interior and exterior lighting, and we're going to repair and impermeabilize the roofs. We are also going to apply a new painting livery according to the image defined by the company, so by CP. We will have room for bicycles, given the type of services they are intended to have in the menu line. We are also going to apply an adapted auxiliary power converter for the 1.5 kV, which is the auxiliary power that we standardly use here in the traction material in Portugal. And we will also develop, we will fully develop an in-house passenger information system, the most adapted to the needs that we have to provide information to our passengers. In this case of the Arco coaches, we have an average cost of around the 140,000 euros per coach. And essentially the benefits that we are going to have is that we are going to comply with the offer for the newly electrified menu line, which was a problem that CP had. It's also a big opportunity to speed up the CP goal to increase the long distance coaches fleet. So originally we were planning to modernize a set of Sorry-Farm coaches, which were stopped, but that is a long-lasting process, much long-lasting process than this one with the Arco coaches. These coaches have an advantage is that they are suitable for regional or mid to long service distances. So they are very, very versatile. And originally they are very comfortable coaches, and we expect to increase a little bit more the comfort of this rolling stock material. And since then, this will allow CP to increase the long distance available fleet in a very short period of time. So the idea is to solve the problem immediately. Just to give you a glimpse of a little bit of the operations that we have currently going on, so that you get an idea of where we are and also where we are supposed to go. Getting to the Contamil site, the Contamil site is playing a different role. It is refurbishing and overhauling and mainly restoring to service electric traction. So we are restoring to service there 7 locomotives with a total verification and overhaul of the locomotive. With the paint job made according to the original CP livery. We have an average cost per unit of around 65,000 euros per unit. And the idea is to provide traction to the refurbished Arco coaches, a traction that was lacking in the rolling stock of CP. So in order to be, the idea is to correctly offer the timetable for the menu line with the Arco coaches. And this will also allow CP to have an increased available electric traction in a short period of time, which will create redundancies and obviously reduce the possibility of any cancellation of service. Just a couple of pictures for you to get an idea of the whole process of this putting back to service of this type of locomotives. Also in Contamil, we are refurbishing and retrofitting 4 Italian-built narrow gauge coaches. Well, in this case, it's more trying to historically preserve the material. The idea is to renew totally the interiors, but accurately equal to the original ones. Preserve the same paint livery as the original one when they were purchased from Naples. And do a complete overhaul from a bogie to vacuum braking equipment. The average cost of this unit is around 50,000 euros per unit. The benefits here is to provide historical service, which proved to be a growing market for the narrow gauge, and also is very good for public relations and image of the company. And it's very good for the enthusiasts of railroading. Just a couple of pictures for you to get a glimpse of what we're doing here with this narrow gauge coaches, doing a total refurbishment from the interior to out. Following then to the entroncamento site, We've been refurbishing and retrofitting and overhauling a set of EMUs, 4 of them from Siemens. We've done a complete overhaul and previously put out of service units, essentially because of obsolescence issues. So for these units, we have an average cost of around 900,000 euros per unit. In case of the traction system of this unit, we've had to totally retrofit it due to these obsolescence problems. And the benefits here are the incorporation of national and in-house developed technology to overcome these issues. And also try to increase the reliability and availability of the units. These units are key to reinforce and assure the offer in one of the busiest lines in Portugal, which is the Central Line. This will allow CP to have an increased available electric traction also in a very short period of time, which proved to be critical. Reducing obviously drastically the service cancellation and also reducing the pressure on the first level maintenance depot because of the redundancies headed. Also, so a little bit, some pictures about the whole process from the overhaul. Also in Introcomento, we are working on a 3500 series Alstom EMU. It was put out of service because of problems of procurement, of parts procurement. We have an average cost of around 500,000 euros per unit. The idea is exactly the same from the other Siemens EMUs from the series 2300, which is to reinforce the offer in the Central Line. In this case, it has been totally retrofitted from the inside, so the point of view of passenger, the unit mainly changed, and also from exterior because we have changed the painting livery to this livery, this red livery that you are seeing there. So just a couple of pictures of the whole process there. Following Barreiro site at the south, we have refurbished and retrofitted also a set of 2 diesel electric locomotives with a complete overhaul of the unit with full inspection, obviously from traction to braking equipment and everything. And it has been painted according to the original livery, so which is the blue one. We have an average cost per unit of around 250,000 per unit, and these units are mainly to provide traction to the Schindler coaches. So that's why they are very important to assure the service in the Douro line and allow the increment of tourist services in the Douro line, reducing drastically service cancellations and increasing redundancies for the maintenance depot. Just a couple of pictures of the bits of the work we've been made with these locomotives. Also in Barreiro, we have restored to service 1 locomotive from the series 1550 from MLW. Here, the basic idea, well, the average cost is roughly the same from the other unit. And the basic benefits here was to provide more powerful traction to the emergency train, but also to provide a diesel training vehicle to graduating drivers, which was lacking in CP. And just a couple of pictures from the recovery of this locomotive. So final remarks on ongoing projects. Here in Guifões and Contumel, well, besides the Schindler and the Sorefam coaches I've described, we are currently ongoing some extra 5 Schindler coaches and 3 Sorefam coaches. Contumel is also recovering 3 more Alstom electric locomotives and 2 narrow gauge coaches. We also have in our hands a modernization of 19 DMUs and the modernization of 7 narrow gauge DMUs, which my previous speaker just gave a hint of what it can be. Entroncamento is right now ongoing for the delivery of 2 Siemens EMUs and 1 Alstom EMU, everything retrofitted and refurbished according to what I have described. Also, Barreiro are currently in the process of delivering 2 extra units to try to assure the demand that increased from passengers, and we hope it is going to increase a lot more after this pandemic situation. So just to leave you with a couple of pictures of the services we are performing in Douro line, and maybe inviting everyone if wants to enjoy the landscape of the Douro line. It's a very typical railroad line and very touristic. And we have a big demand there, as it can be seen by the pictures.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.
We have quite a constraint on the agenda. I think
yes,
we have to finish in 5 minutes. I understand. Yeah.
Yes, I'm finished. Okay. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I hope to be. I hope to have been on time.
Thank you very much to you all. Sorry to interrupt. In fact, we have already the minister on waiting room, so I think we'll be able to have 5 minutes sharp. It needs, in fact, to be 5 minutes, and I ask for your help on this. So, François Daven, perhaps there are some questions from the audience that we'll be glad if you
I think we have
place them.
Quite a few interesting questions. I will start with a question to Mr. To Mr. Luis Navarro about the presentation on the Hyperloop. Does the Zeros vehicle could possibly be coupled to make longer vehicle with more capacity? Because the capacity of the vehicles is always a question that we have with Hyperloop.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, this is one of the, we can say, the options that we are managing. However, it will, we can say that the original concept is not considering this as an initial step in terms of the technology development, because it's not needed for the demands that we have today. We are working instead on reducing the headline between, the safety between train and train, and that will be enough so far. Probably in 50 years, we will need this additional technology.
Okay, and that means that you didn't really address this question, but in terms of throughput of passenger by minutes, for example, is that competitive with, for example, a high-speed line? Or?
Yes, it is, because the headline can be reduced thanks to the different technology, we can say, about 2 minutes from the train to train. And that's something that dramatically increases the capacity. It's just another lever.
So thank you, because that's underlying, and there's this question about coupling, I imagine. So I have another question for Mr. Jean Salguero, which is about cybersecurity, because indeed sharing data and integrating all modes is really what we want to do. But what is for you the level of cybersecurity that is needed to ensure the digital transformation?
The digital, the cybersecurity level is according to the standards, to assure that the full protection and the full blocking of external interference, the capability to audit the manipulation of all the information, and to assure that we have integrity of data and access by those who need to access, and there is no misappropriation of that information. I think these are the 2 parameters that are of paramount relevance, and mainly, and as I mentioned, the question of the anonymization of data, that is almost a side of that, but it is important. It is vital for people to, together with the cybersecurity tools, to trust on allowing the information to be used for analysis and for evaluation. But as I mentioned, integrity and auditing of who uses and how it uses.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's also interesting. And also what I understand is that as the rest, security will be transversal to all the modes, because we will more or less using the same technologies. That's
Yeah, indeed. And in fact, another important topic is that the cybersecurity, as if we, in the first glance, we could think cyber as something that is put on top of what exists. From now on, more and more, cyber comes from the base and comes from design. And so most of these systems, most of the solutions are secured by design. And so when engineers and when the technicians start to think on the topic, it runs immediately from that. But without going in further details on the safety levels and the norms, I think it is not the case to speak about safety level 3 and so on. This is a rough idea of what is the concerns around the cyber.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think I have a last question to Paulo Marques about the capability of building the mainframe or light-to-rail vehicle like a single car tram, given the experience you have in road vehicles.
So this is really what we are thinking about, and it will be our bet in the future. Cover all the needs from the market, not only in small vehicles or airports, but bigger vehicles are in our vision to the future. Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much. Well, I think we have now finished our presentation. I don't think we have time to have a. Have we still time or not?
No, in fact not.
No, okay.
If you want to,
that was my understanding.
Please.
Yeah. So well, thank you very much. And what I retain from this panel actually is that that's a complementarity. There is not a single presentation that presented a system in complete isolation from the other systems. And I think that's something very important, because what we have ahead of us is a change of paradigm. What the Commission, for example, made in the papers on the Green Deal and on the smart networks, that's exactly that. It's about a change of paradigm, not only for transport, but for our economy. And I think coming back to transport and rail, because we are speaking here of rail transport, I think that's what really we should have in mind, that we will be successful if we have this high-level vision, this conceptual vision of what should be the rail system and what should be the interconnections of the rail system with the other mode, but not only with the other mode, with the other technologies. And I think, for instance, what Thales said was very interesting with this. And,
thank you very much. I thank you to our moderator of this panel, Mr. François Daven, General Manager of UIC. So, ending this panel, in fact, we are ending the summit itself. So it was been a great event, and to finalize, now nobody better than our Minister of Infrastructures and Housing, Pedro Nuno dos Santos, that it is here with us. So, Mr. Minister, please, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Aqui, certo? Hello, thank you very much. É uma honra para mim estar aqui novamente a encerrar este encontro que junta o setor ferroviário português, as entidades públicas, os operadores privados, a indústria, a academia, e que este ano contou com um programa especialmente preenchido de participações internacionais, dando um excelente arranque para o Ano Europeu do Transporte Ferroviário. Há pouco mais de um ano, quando falei na edição anterior do Portugal Railway Summit, passei uma boa parte do meu discurso a descrever as dificuldades que a ferrovia enfrentava em Portugal. Nessa altura, vim aqui falar dos atrasos que não conseguíamos evitar no lançamento de obras e na necessidade de garantir o patamar mais básico do serviço ferroviário, que o comboio aparece na estação e que aparece a horas. Os problemas não estão todos resolvidos, mas hoje posso vir aqui dizer-vos que temos as obras em todos os principais corredores ferroviários do país já no terreno ou em concurso, e que conseguimos recuperar material circulante suficiente para reduzir as supressões ao mínimo, sobrando apenas aqueles casos imprevistos que é impossível evitar. E não nos esqueçamos que, independentemente das medidas Covid, a CP tem mantido 100% da oferta a funcionar nos serviços urbanos e regionais, precisamente aqueles onde tínhamos mais problemas. As dificuldades do curto prazo não desapareceram completamente. E ainda nem sequer falei dos novos problemas causados pela pandemia. Mas hoje estou em muito melhores condições para poder falar-vos de uma visão estratégica para o caminho de ferro em Portugal. Independentemente da recuperação e modernização de material circulante, que continua, nós já tínhamos identificado a necessidade de avançar para a compra de novos comboios. Trabalhámos com a CP, desenhámos um plano que cobre as necessidades que podemos prever até 2030 e estamos a avançar para lançar o primeiro concurso muito em breve. Mas estamos a preparar os concursos de forma a que, dentro de todas as regras, possamos valorizar as propostas que tenham o máximo de incorporação da indústria nacional. Por isso, a compra de novos comboios para a CP é também uma peça importante na nossa estratégia industrial para o setor ferroviário. Outra peça muito importante dessa estratégia industrial é a criação do Centro de Competências da Ferrovia, que nos vai permitir formar quadros especializados e promover a investigação e inovação ferroviária. Temos já tudo pronto para que o centro possa começar a funcionar. Em matéria de infraestrutura, o Programa Nacional de Investimentos tem 3 eixos fundamentais para o desenvolvimento da rede ferroviária na próxima década. Concluir a eletrificação e modernização de toda a rede, resolver os estrangulamentos nas áreas metropolitanas e criar um eixo de alta velocidade entre o Porto e Lisboa, estendendo-o depois para norte até à Galiza. Porquê a linha Porto-Lisboa? Porque esta é a linha de comboio que muda a face do país. Não é só reduzir o tempo de viagem entre o Porto e Lisboa para 1h15. É colocar Leiria a 35 minutos de Lisboa, Coimbra a 35 minutos do Porto, Braga a 2 horas de Lisboa. Todo o território que se encontra ao longo da nossa faixa atlântica fica no máximo a um par de horas. É uma revolução na estrutura do território e no tipo de relações pessoais, familiares e económicas que se podem estabelecer. Também muda completamente a nossa capacidade de afirmação. O país passa a ter uma metrópole de escala europeia com cerca de 8 milhões de habitantes. Mas este não é um investimento só no litoral. Todas as ligações ferroviárias ao interior estão ligadas ao eixo litoral. É por essa razão que estamos com a IP a desenvolver este projeto com vários pontos de ligação à linha do Norte e à linha do Oeste. Isto permitirá, por exemplo, que um Intercidades da Guarda para Lisboa possa usar a nova linha a sul de Coimbra e assim retirar 40 minutos ao seu tempo de viagem. É uma linha que encolhe o país e por isso ela é estruturante para a nossa rede ferroviária. Por essa razão, ela formará a espinha dorsal da rede ferroviária do futuro. Essa rede é a que irá surgir no Plano Ferroviário Nacional. O Plano Ferroviário Nacional vai ser o pretexto para pormos o país todo a falar de ferrovia durante pelo menos um ano. Queremos olhar para o país, ouvir quem vive nele, quem trabalha, quem faz negócios e depende de um transporte fiável, rápido e acessível. Queremos planear uma rede não só de infraestruturas, mas de serviços que cubra o território e que se torne o modo preferencial de deslocação para as pessoas, sejam elas em trabalho, em férias, para visitar um familiar ou só pelo prazer de andar de comboio. Todos vimos neste último verão o sucesso que foi o comboio Miradouro. Por vezes até nos causou, infelizmente, alguns problemas por termos os comboios demasiado cheios, tal o sucesso da operação. Mas é o exemplo de como, com as carruagens Schindler recuperadas, se transformou mais um comboio interregional num produto turístico de referência. O caminho de ferro tem um património riquíssimo de linhas, estações, carruagens e locomotivas. Na semana passada, a CP resgatou a última das carruagens napolitanas que se encontravam na estação do Tua. São carruagens de via estreita fabricadas em Itália nos anos 30. Uma verdadeira preciosidade. Apenas 6 sobram em Portugal, 2 delas já estão recuperadas. Contamos ter 5 delas a circular na linha do Volga no próximo verão e levar crianças e jovens da região para andar de comboio. Tudo isto porque o caminho de ferro não é só transporte. Engenharia, aço, inovação e indústria. É também cultura, é arte e é património de todos nós. Há muita coisa a acontecer na ferrovia em Portugal e queremos que este movimento não pare. Queremos que continue a crescer. É por isso uma feliz coincidência que a presidência portuguesa da União Europeia esteja a decorrer durante a primeira metade do Ano Europeu do Transporte Ferroviário. A ferrovia é a prioridade da nossa presidência em matéria de transportes. Nós achamos que é a altura certa para abrir uma discussão política abrangente sobre o futuro da ferrovia na Europa. A Comissão Europeia apresentou há pouco mais de um mês uma estratégia para a mobilidade inteligente e sustentável. Entre os objetivos que lá estão declarados está o de duplicar o transporte de mercadorias e triplicar o transporte de passageiros em alta velocidade até 2050. Estes são objetivos ambiciosos e nós estamos completamente alinhados com eles. Mas é preciso saber o que é preciso para os concretizar. Para que seja possível duplicar o transporte de mercadorias e triplicar o transporte de passageiros por ferrovia, será preciso construir milhares de quilómetros de novas vias férreas por toda a Europa. Isso não é possível com os atuais níveis de investimento. E ainda nem sequer falamos sobre o que é preciso para retirar automóveis das grandes cidades. É fácil colocar objetivos ambiciosos no papel ou nos slides, mas depois é preciso que as políticas e as decisões os acompanhem. Esta mensagem vale tanto para nós como para o resto da Europa. No caso da ferrovia, como todos nós sabemos, não há outra hipótese para tornar realidade estes objetivos senão o investimento público. Não é só na infraestrutura que o Estado é indispensável, também na operação. Com exceção de alguns serviços de alta velocidade, o mercado, só por si, não fornece os serviços de que a sociedade precisa para funcionar e para dar às pessoas melhor qualidade de vida. É assim em todo o mundo. O transporte ferroviário é quase sempre deficitário em termos estritamente financeiros, mas traz enormes benefícios para a economia e para a sociedade. Por isso encaixa perfeitamente na definição do que deve ser um serviço público. Na Europa, há sinais de que muitos países começam a perceber as limitações do mercado e do modelo do espaço ferroviário europeu que tem vindo a ser desenvolvido nos últimos 30 anos. Por exemplo, as propostas que têm surgido por iniciativa da Alemanha e da Holanda para desenvolver o transporte internacional de passageiros apontam para uma maior cooperação entre os operadores públicos e para o estabelecimento de obrigações de serviço público com os subsídios que lhes estão associados para este tipo de serviços. Acho que é chegada a altura de fazer o que verdadeiramente nunca foi feito e avaliar os resultados dos 4 pacotes ferroviários. Não pela bitola da liberalização e da concorrência, mas pela bitola do serviço ao passageiro, do serviço público, do bem público que o caminho de ferro deve ser. Esta discussão deve ser feita não só entre as instituições, a indústria, os operadores, mas com os passageiros, os trabalhadores e o público. Foi por isso que, no contexto da presidência portuguesa da União Europeia, nós pedimos um apoio ao Conselho Económico e Social Europeu sobre este assunto. Este será um documento importante para nos ajudar a discutir este tema sem quaisquer preconceitos. Outro ponto mais urgente que é necessário tratar é a ajuda às empresas ferroviárias que tiveram de enfrentar uma enorme quebra de passageiros e de receitas. A Europa devia ter avançado para ajudar os operadores ferroviários com a mesma rapidez com que avançamos para resgatar companhias aéreas. É evidente que o setor ferroviário precisará de ser ajudado pelos Estados, ainda para mais queremos que ele esteja no centro da recuperação económica. O caminho de ferro não conseguirá responder aos objetivos da Estratégia para a Mobilidade Inteligente e Sustentável do Pacto Ecológico Europeu e, sobretudo, àquilo que as sociedades esperam dele, se estiver a braços com dificuldades financeiras. O caminho de ferro é um bem público. É nessa perspectiva que estamos a trabalhar em Portugal e é nessa perspectiva que queremos trabalhar com os nossos parceiros europeus. Muito obrigado. Dou os meus parabéns à organização e vamos ao trabalho para não deixar parar este comboio. Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister, for being with us. We really appreciate your participation on this Portugal Railway Summit. So, just to finalize the event itself, it was a pleasure to have you with us for these last 2 days. In fact, the panels were really interesting, and it shows that, in fact, railway, it is a must. That's something that all Europe, and especially Portugal, needs to adopt. I would start to thank you for all our speakers and moderators who have been with us for these couple of days. That was, in fact, a huge success in our point of view. We had more than 1,700 inscriptions to the event and a regular participants of 600 to 700 attendants during the sessions itself. So it was really good, and it felt that, in fact, all the market and all the people is very much interested in the railways subject. I would proceed also to thank you to the Portuguese presidency that, in fact, will allow us to put this event on their program, and as well thank to the European Commission, because also allow us to be in the national programs events to the European Year of Rail. Just to finalize the most important situation, it is the fact to us, the Portuguese railway cluster, we need your help for all the Portuguese companies that they are not already in the platform itself. We will be very glad to have you with us. So to the sponsors, it was our last thank you, because without you, this would not have been possible. And we want to see you here next year, 2022, in the Portugal Railways Summit again. Thank you very much for your participants. Thank you for being here. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Founded in 1998, Incomif Group develops, designs and manufactures tailor-made industrial solutions for large companies in the rail, aeronautical, automotive, energy and other sectors. Thanks to our multidisciplinary engineering team, Incomif Group is able to adapt to the needs of its customers, end users and/or integrators. Our competencies allow us to cover industrial solutions that integrate mechanical engineering combined with automation, robotics and artificial vision. More than an industrial company, Incomif Group stands out for its innovation and flexibility to present its customers with customized industrial solutions, regardless of the sector in which they operate.
From the very beginning, we feel the urge to move and discover the world. We walk, ride, drive, and travel. We're always on the move to learn, work, relax, keep fit, explore, and of course, to meet each other. When we can't, we confine our very nature. We depend on mobility for ourselves and for moving all those things we need and want in life. We've always been very ingenious when it comes to getting ahead faster, more safely, more reliably, and with greater comfort. Today, we need new solutions for new challenges. This is what drives us. This is why we're so passionate about mobility and always go that extra mile to move beyond what's possible today. We are pioneers in transportation, helping our customers keep the world in motion. As their trusted partner, we create ways to move people sustainably and seamlessly, from the first mile to the last. This is our vision. This is what we're moving toward and beyond.
Como uma viagem de comboio, também a vida tem paragens. Mas depois de todas as paragens, há movimento. Há quem se mova para salvar vidas, cuidar da cidade e das famílias. Há quem se mova porque é preciso e há quem mova quem precisa. É por isso que, com cuidados redobrados, seguimos em frente, por aqueles que precisam e que gostam de viajar. Para que Portugal arranque depressa rumo à próxima estação. CP, sempre em movimento.